Live, and we're back again, 3:45 p.m. Wednesday, February 28th. One more day left in the month of February. And we're here to discuss the market and what's gone on today in the market. Today has been absolutely insane. And there's a variety of reasons for why the day has been insane. Lots of plot twists, lots of turns, lots of curves in terms of what's happened. I think the broader thing that kind of took over the news today, obviously, Bitcoin, I'm staring at it right now at 60,154. There was a moment at about 11:30 where Bitcoin went from 60,000 to 61 to 62 to 63 to 64.4, and then it fell about 10 minutes later from 64.4 to 59. So at 64,000, there was a massive amount of sell side pressure there. There was a big wall that was just not able to be taken over. But obviously, it was just an incredible day in terms of how Bitcoin was reacting. And the fact that it was able to surge, right now it's up 5% of the day. It was up about 7.2% for the day. It's just incredible. A lot of stats I want to talk about in regards to happening with Bitcoin and what we can expect over the next couple of weeks with Bitcoin. Second of all, these stocks have hit their new 52-week highs today. Costco, JP Morgan, Robinhood, a bunch of news on Robinhood we have to discuss as well. American Express, Bed Bath and Body Works, Elf Beauty, GE Healthcare, Hilton, Lind, Marathon Digital. They have earnings after the bell, so we're going to be talking about them. So lots of different stocks hit their 52-week highs today. And then on top of that, after the bell, we've got Marathon, Snowflake, Salesforce, AMC, C3 AI, Paramount, Okta, Duolingo, Weight Watchers, and a lot more companies to discuss. So we have a ton of stuff to get into on this market close to be able to analyze what is going on. It's not Bed Bath and Body Works. It's it's Bath and Body Works. I was thinking Bed Bath and Beyond. But let's get into it. We've got a market close to get into. Eric Wood, Shem Pasta, Eeyore was right. Roy, Iceman, JJ, Cameron Vincent, Joshua, Damian, Ken, Greatness, Colorblind Collector, Kelly, thank you for being here. Bianca, Astricus, Alan, Luke Francis, Jason Reynolds. All right, let's do it. What do you think of Marathon? Well, I have no clue, but I think that's a good segue into this crypto discussion. If we look right here on crypto, as you can see on the left-hand side of my screen, pretty much everything is red except for MicroStrategy, which is up 9% of the day, which makes sense. MicroStrategy bought another 3,000 Bitcoin. They now have 195,000 Bitcoin at an average price of like $6 billion. It's worth $11 billion, so they're sitting on $4 or $5 billion of profit. They deserve to be up today because literally their balance sheet has expanded. But a company like CleanSpark is down 13%, which is kind of crazy. Coinbase, flat on the day. It was at 210 at one point. Robinhood, we'll talk more about them later, but they're down, and Bitcoin's up 5%. It kind of doesn't make sense for Robinhood and Coinbase to be down, but they're down. The only thing that's really up is MicroStrategy. Even Marathon's up about 1% because they have earnings, but they were kind of flattish during the day. Why is this happening? I think there's a couple of things going on with the miners right now. Number one, I think they already ran a lot over the past 2 weeks, like aggressively. CleanSpark's up 145% for the month. So a lot of people probably are like, all right, if Bitcoin's going to take a breather here, which at 64,000, we saw it take a nasty breather down to 59,000. Then if they're going to take a break, we should probably take some profits on the miners, which makes sense. It's probably healthy to be able to do, and probably healthy for Bitcoin to just relax for a little bit, people to take some profits, have a dip opportunity, and other people get in. The other thing is I think people are worried about Marathon earnings. CleanSpark, I understand, I would say decently well. I've done enough research on them to understand their cost structure, vertical integration, their electricity, their factories in Georgia, all that stuff. I can't even tell you where Marathon's mining facilities are. I don't even know what state they're in. I don't even know what country they're in, quite frankly. I think it's in the United States. So I don't know anything about Marathon. And this was the Bitcoin drop right here, 64,000 to 59K within seconds. This was at 12:30 p.m. Right before that, literally minutes before that, I was tweeting. Look at this. I tweeted 63K. This was at 12:14. Then at 12:15, wow, within 1 minute, I tweeted 64K. And then by 12:30, it all started to come down. I think there is some fear about Marathon not potentially being as good as a CleanSpark in terms of controlling their costs and their vertical integration and things of that nature. And if Marathon takes a crap, they're one of the larger miners, maybe the broader miner sector takes a crap. So I think that's what people are afraid about right now as well when it comes to what we're seeing on Bitcoin. So that's what we got going on right now in the miners. 10 minutes until the market closes. We have a ton of earnings to get to. Bitcoin, 60,200. All right, so let me read off a bunch of stats that I think you guys are going to find very interesting in regards to what's going on with Bitcoin. So here's a bunch of different headlines on Bitcoin today. Number one, BlackRock's ETF, IBIT, took in $520 million just yesterday. This is the biggest inflow for an ETF ever. This is the second biggest inflow of any ETF yesterday. They now have 8 billion in total assets. That was about 6.4 2 weeks ago. And this is the top 5% among all ETFs. This is for BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. Second of all 12 Bitcoin ETFs have traded $6.28 billion as of 2 p.m. So it's probably a little bit more than that, which is more than double their previous record of $3 billion, which is why we're seeing Bitcoin up 5%. You just have a lot of inflows coming into this bad boy, and the daily trading volume is going higher and higher. There's more buyers versus sellers. And then one other stat I wanted to read for you. Oh, well, I told you guys this morning, but Bitcoin ETFs bought about 9,000 Bitcoin yesterday alone. The miners only mined 900 of them. Now, as a result of all this volatility, something happened, which is if you saw the thumbnail of this video, well, Coinbase pretty much collapsed. Let me actually check it right now to see if it's back. I would imagine it's back. Brian Armstrong tweeting, "We are dealing with a large surge of traffic. Apologies for any issues you encounter. The team is working to remediate." My Coinbase balance as well disappeared. I know a lot of people tweeted that their Coinbase balance disappeared. I cannot, okay, now it's back. Now it's back. I cannot imagine the amount of growth Coinbase is experiencing right now. I remember in 2017 when Bitcoin was exploding, I downloaded Coinbase for the first time. I put, 10, 15 bucks in there and was just playing around. And I think millions of people, probably not millions, probably like tens of thousands, not millions yet, but tens of thousands of people today are doing the exact same thing. And we're seeing this also in the numbers. If we look at the download charts for Robinhood and Bitcoin, so Robinhood, first of all, went from number 19 3 days ago to number 16 on the Finance app store in iOS in the United States. So that's big for Robinhood. And then Coinbase had an even crazier jump. They went from number 31 to number 22. SoFi, by the way, is at number 38. So I expect Coinbase and Robinhood to be in the top 10 pretty soon. Lots of people are downloading them. Lots of people are looking at what they're doing. And as a result of that, that is increasing more exposure for them in general. Ray Grenade says 2017 for me too. Yeah, this is another thing I tweeted. I think FOMO comes for everyone. And it's really important to understand why FOMO comes for everyone. At one point, my sister made $1,500 on Doge, right? And she does not care about the stock market. She does not care about crypto, but everyone cares about money. And if they think they can make money, they're not going to be kind of sophisticated, looking at due diligence, trying to understand what's going on. They're just going to buy, right? It is what it is. It happens to the best of us, and people get greedy. FOMO takes in. This is global FOMO happening because more people know what Bitcoin is now because of the ETFs than they did in 2017. And Coinbase and Robinhood, their platforms have become much more sophisticated, stronger. They can handle the infrastructure. Hopefully, as of today, Coinbase didn't prove that, but you get my point. There's going to be a lot of people coming into this thing at one point. Right now, I still think most of the demand is institutional, but obviously today was the first day where retail finally cracked one of these apps because there was just too much traffic. And as a result of that, we might see Bitcoin cool off a little bit because it's had a crazy run, and that would be totally normal and fine. But this isn't even the halving event yet. And once that halving event happens, some more volatility might happen to the upside when it comes to Bitcoin. Leslie Clark says, "I love this FOMO. It shows us, it brings me back to such a happy time and memories from 2019, 2020. Yeah, this is FOMO I think people have been waiting for a long time. And, if you're an investor in anything, you want FOMO. If as a Palantir investor, I want people to have tons of FOMO when Palantir is $25, $26, $27, because they're having to buy it at a price that I don't need to buy it at because I had my FOMO or my due diligence phase before them. And it is what it is. This is the nature of the markets. You get the price you deserve on any asset. And if you're in that asset before other people, then you want them to have FOMO while the asset is running up because that continues to make the asset go up, right? You need more buy side pressure. And you also need exit liquidity. It's the nature of the game, right? This is the stock market. This is crypto. You're ultimately trying to make a profit at the end of the day. So with Bitcoin, the funny thing is, and with Palantir, I would argue, right, with some of the long-term hodlers of these companies and Tesla, people that really just believe in the company, if you have a good average and you believe in the mission, you're not selling. So it really doesn't matter if that FOMO comes in. It just makes your gains look better, but you're not really taking profits here. A lot of the people holding Bitcoin are not selling this thing. They're just not. There are people that have been holding this thing for 10 years now. And if they know this thing's going to 1 million, right, or something that is much bigger than 60,000 and they're not selling, that's just going to create more buy side pressure and a supply shock to get people to come in. Benny says, "Did you buy the CLSK dip today, Mitt?" I did not buy the Clean Spark dip today at all. I definitely don't know what's going to happen on Marathon earnings, so we'll see what happens, but I did not partake in really buying anything. One thing I am looking at, though, is BITO. Pro shares, the futures on BITO That one actually allows you to trade derivatives. So, I mean, I don't know. If you think Bitcoin's going to 100,000, that thing at 28 is not going to be 28. It's going to be well beyond 50, 60 bucks in the next, I would argue, a year. It quite literally tracks Bitcoin pretty well. So there have always been derivative instruments to be able to trade Bitcoin and trade options on Bitcoin, even if it's not literally trading on Bitcoin. The ETFs are not like a way to trade Bitcoin. They just made it more enticing for Bitcoin's value to go up because so much more money was coming in through these institutional arms like Fidelity and BlackRock that kind of figured out what was happening. And that, led to the surge in momentum on Bitcoin as well. So there are different options there to play leaps on Bitcoin. My point of bringing this up is you don't just have to go through the miners if that's what people are thinking. There's other ways to get alpha in the derivatives market on Bitcoin without having to literally do the miners. Because I know a lot of people are buying the miners because they think there's a better alpha there than Bitcoin. Maybe it's easier for CleanSpark to go from 20 to 40, so you get a double, versus Bitcoin to go from 60,000 to 120,000, right? And I think that's what people are thinking about that right now. Why BITO options? Yeah, BITO is the only one that allows options. The other ETFs don't allow options from my understanding. Okay, let's make the watch list real quick, guys. We have earnings coming up. So let's make the watch list. Here we go. Let me know if I'm missing anything. So what's today? 2/28. Big earnings day today. Lots of companies, a lot of implications, but a bunch of implications for Palantir. We got Snowflake, we got C3 AI, we have Okta, we have Duolingo, we have Paramount. What else do we have? What else? I'm forgetting a bunch of these. What are the other ones? Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Okay. Oh yeah, AMC, Paramount. Or read that. AMC, Marathon, obviously. So we got Marathon, then AMC. Marathon, I think, is going to be the biggest one. Also, which one do you guys want to listen to today? Which one do we listen to? Weight Watchers. Okay, Weight Watchers. There we go. Those are the main ones. People were saying Snowflake, but I know a lot of people want to listen to Marathon. So I'll listen to whatever you guys want to listen to, but let me know in the chat which one. Marathon? Everyone wants to listen to Marathon. Oh, Salesforce too. Salesforce, CRM. That's a big one. That's a big one for enterprise software. That one needs to go well. Wow, Salesforce above 300. Holy crap, dude. Last time it did that was 2021. You see this chart? Last time it was at 300 was 2021 November. Oh my. That is different. That is wow. Market's excited for that. Market's excited for Salesforce. All right, so we got Salesforce there as well. Okay, you guys I'm going to do a poll between Snowflake and Marathon so that we know. I think more of you want to listen to Marathon, but I'll let the poll decide. Snowflake probably is worth listening to. It's just, I don't know. It might not be as exciting as Marathon. Let's see. Okay, let's do the poll. Listen to Snow or Mara. Let's see. Did anyone sell some Bitcoin today? Did anyone make some profits today? Is anyone cashing out? Let me know. Also, who holds Bitcoin in the chat, dude? I don't think I've ever asked this question. Who holds Bitcoin? I put out a tweet a little bit earlier today about one of the revelations I've had about Bitcoin, which is not really a revelation, but I've come to the conclusion that I think this thing is actually a store of value. And the reason I'm saying that right now is because in 2022, I was humbly admit I was ignorant to what the concept of Bitcoin was. But also in 2022, we hadn't printed $7 trillion to the point where inflation surged 10% in the world's most developed economy. I think BlackRock's not dumb. I think they're evil, but they're not dumb. And because they're not dumb, they realize that the U.S. is not going to be able to print itself out of this mess. Maybe for the next 100 years, the U.S. delays the mess, but they're not printing themselves out of the mess forever, which means there needs to be something that actually has scarcity, actually has some type of value, and actually can store that value over the long term, even if there's massive levels of volatility within storing that value. And, for a certain subset of people in the world, Bitcoin is what they believe is a real store of value. And I think for more people, that's why we're seeing these ETF inflows. It's becoming more apparent that this can store their value better than a lot of other things. And as a result of that, the asset price is starting to go higher, and it's going to deflate after the halving event in terms of the amount of Bitcoins that are even available to be able to be mined. So as a result of that, I think it just makes sense. At some point, you have to admit when you're wrong, and you're just like, look, like there's only 21 million of them. There's more demand, less supply. This shit's gonna go up. It's just not that complicated. Okay, it seems like a lot of the chat has the Bitcoin. Jess has 1.5 Bitcoin over the last 4 years. Bitcoin's 15% of the portfolio for Geoist. Matt says, I remember when Bitcoin's at 20K and I said you'd become bullish at 50K. I think I got bullish by like 35-ish K because that's when I actually had to like pay someone in Bitcoin. This was back in December. And the guy was like, hey, do you have Bitcoin? And I was like, yeah. He was like, can you pay me in that? I was like, you don't take PayPal? He's like, no, bro. In Nigeria, we don't have PayPal. I was like, oh, okay. So this is where I'm actually getting some value out of this. And, then my perspective really started changing. And it is what it is. When you see the US print this much money, it becomes kind of absurd. All right, 4 p.m. Wednesday, February 28th, stock market is now closed. Markets are now closed. Bitcoin 60,378 on Bitcoin. There you go. There you go. Let's see what else we got after the bell, and then we'll get to the earnings charts. American Airlines is down a little bit. Ethereum hit 3,400. Now it's at 3,295. Tesla 202. Tesla actually had a pretty decent day. I think that's off the Apple news. Basically them quitting the car. Let's go to Mag 7 is all down for the day except Tesla and Microsoft. What's funny is no one gives a shit about NVIDIA anymore, and that's how funny and interesting and eclectic the stock market and the crypto equity markets. I mean, like, people just don't care anymore about NVIDIA, right? Like, that was yesterday's news. So we moved on from that, but that one is down about 1% on the day. Crypto stocks, all of them are, again, kind of flat or down. Some of them took a bigger beating. CleanSpark rallied a little bit into the close, but still down about 13.4% of the day. Coinbase right now, $200. Robinhood ending the day at 1611. We'll talk more about Robinhood. A bunch of updates came after the market opened about Robinhood. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, here are the companies we're looking at. Paramount Digital, Marathon, AMC, Weight Watchers, Salesforce, Duolingo, Okta, C3 AI, and Snowflake. Okay, so let me just adjust this right here. Webull, thankfully, is working today. By the way, Webull's going public. That's incredible. And I got to show you something else that relates to Robinhood in regards to Webull going public, because their valuation makes Robinhood look like a baby, and it kind of speaks to Robinhood's undervaluation as well. Dogecoin also was up 16%. Yeah, Dogecoin was up 16% today as well. Okay, Salesforce is down 5%. I'm pulling up the numbers. I've done this enough over the past month to know that the numbers are not going to be out realistically till 4:10. It's going to take a long time till this thing till these numbers actually pull up. But let's see if we can get some of these numbers showing up, and we'll see what we have. Let me pull up CNBC as well, and let's see if they have numbers, and then we'll get into it. What did the poll say? What do we say? Hold on, let me go to the poll. Do we want Paramount or do we want Marathon or okay, I'll pull up the poll in a second. Oh, we got Paramount. All right, so we got Paramount. Let's look at Paramount, and then we'll go. Remember, Paramount was supposed to get bought out, but that never happened. So they were supposed to get bought out by Warner Brothers, I think, but that didn't happen. So here's Paramount, and I'll get the rest of the numbers as well. Salesforce down 5%. Correct. Here we go.
What's happened in the last month in terms of the sectors that are participating, broadening out? Paramount Global's revenues missing, the company reporting $7.64 billion in revenues versus the $7.85 billion that was estimated, but beating on the bottom line, reported an adjusted earnings of 4 cents per share. Analysts had been expecting a loss of 1 cent per share. Now, to dig into the direct-to-consumer division, because this is really seen, it's a key area of focus here. The losses for the division were less than expected. Losses of $490 million in the quarter versus the $564 million losses that were anticipated, and subscribers coming in just a hair above expectations at 67.5 million versus the 6.
Okay, so Paramount's down. No one expected them to be good. We got a bunch of other stocks that are moving pretty early after the close. Here we go, folks. Marathon's flat. Weight Watchers got destroyed. Weight Watchers got destroyed. They're down 14%. This thing was at $10 in October, by the way. This one got killed. Duolingo's up. Dude, I was going to buy some Duolingo because I thought they were going to crush, but I didn't pull the trigger. I really thought they were going to crush. They crushed. They're up 16%, of course. Duolingo's a company that fucking grows, dude. They grow so well. We're going to pull up their numbers. I didn't end up buying. I didn't do any earnings plays today, but if there was one company I was going to do an earnings play on, it would have been Duolingo, because their growth is just insane in regards to user growth and the gamification of their product. Okta's up 15%. That's at $100 right now. Snowflake is flat, and those numbers are now. C3 AI is up 5%. Okay. Let's see. Let me try to get some numbers. So first, Salesforce. We got some numbers on Salesforce. They beat EPS and revenue, but they missed guidance. And that's why they're down. Here we go. Here's Salesforce. Here's Salesforce number. Austin says, my girlfriend uses Duolingo every day, and so I told my GF to get some. Yeah, dude, it's a sticky product, dude. Very, very sticky product. Okay, Salesforce adjusted EPS 229 versus 168. That's a beat. Revenue 9.29 billion versus 9.22. That's a beat. Subscription revenue 8.7 billion, up 12% year over year. That's a beat. I think Salesforce is down because of the guidance. Yep, it has to be because of the guidance. Okay, so Salesforce because of the guidance. Where's Snowflake? Oh no. Oh no, no. Oh boy. Holy guacamole. Oh my goodness. Snowflake is down 16%. I'm not going to act like I'm not happy right now. I'm going to pretend I'm very sad for Snowflake shareholders, and I'm not going to act like I'm not happy. But I am very disappointed in Snowflake's price performance for the Snowflake shareholders. I might be a little happy inside, but I am very sad for Snowflake shareholders. Dude, 16%. The Snowflake seems to have gotten underneath some sun and melted just a little bit. That's a little different from Palantir earnings that was up 16% as soon as their numbers came out. Oh boy. All right, I'm trying to get their numbers. Snowflake down 16%. Let me know in the chat if anyone owns this one. I'm sorry, guys. What do you expect from me? What do you expect? I'm not going to be super sad about Snowflake being down 17%. I don't think they have anything real to offer to the marketplace. I think they're a lake house. I think they got pumped up by Wall Street, and I think Wall Street likes them because, you know, they're the typical software play. They're not a Palantir. They're not mysterious. They're not eclectic. They don't have a CEO that'll tell you F you to your face. And so Wall Street buys their stock, but that's not the reason to buy their stock, right? So let me try to see if I can pull up their numbers. Snow. Damn, 16% is bad, dude. 16% is bad. Okay, so they have guided for 26% growth, which is ironically more than Palantir, but they're getting tanked because their growth has come down so much. Snowflake. All right, here's the numbers. Here's the numbers on Snowflake. Here are the numbers. Snowflake revenue of 774, beating 759. They beat by 20 million. EPS 35 cents, beating expectations of 18 cents. So they beat on EPS and revenue, but it looks like the guidance is what got them, dude. Dude, they're down 21%, guys. Where's Palantir? Holy crap. Is Palantir getting hit because of this? Wow, Palantir's not getting hit. Let's go, dude. The market finally realized that Snowflake is not Palantir. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I thought Palantir might get hit. C3 AI is up 10%. C3 AI is up 10%. We'll look at C3's numbers in a second, but Snowflake apparently the guidance was bad. For once, the market finally gave Palantir some love here and said, all right, we know you're not Snowflake. Palantir's down a little bit. It's down 0.51%, but that's fine. Snowflake down 20. That means they just lost, I think, like 10 billion of valuation, market cap, 10 or 15 billion. Oh boy. Where's all that Snowflake money going to? It's going to fucking Palantir, dude. It's not staying in Snowflake. It's not staying in a data lake house, dude. I've talked to, I would say, some very sophisticated people in the technology space, and they say everyone uses Snowflake, but it's not like Palantir. Like, yes, it's people use it, but it's not Palantir. Palantir is just a different, beast in organizations. And if you've done the due diligence, I mean, we know Palantir is just totally different. Snowflake's still dropping, guys, 23% down. The street did not like this. I'm trying to pull up their numbers, dude. Where are their real numbers? The street did not like this. While I'm doing that, let's listen to C3 AI. Their numbers are out. Let's listen to them. Here we go.
Salesforce is out. Kate Rooney has those numbers. That stock is down about 6. Kate?
Hey, John. So the big headline here from Salesforce.
We're doing Salesforce and C3 AI. Here we go.
Is announcing a 40-cent dividend. It is there are now very few non-dividend players in the Dow. So
wow. Salesforce with a divvy. That's new.
Salesforce is a Dow component, but it was a beat for Q4, at least on the top and bottom line. EPS $2.29. That was a 3-cent beat. That's the adjusted number. Revenue was up 11% year over year, coming in at $9.29 billion. We're still going through the numbers, but that's the top and bottom line. And again, a 40-cent dividend for Salesforce. Stock down more than 5% here, though.
Yeah. Yeah, at the
There you go.
moment, but it's still early, and you don't want to miss
Still
Jim Cramer's exclusive interview with Salesforce.
Like to see.
Yeah, Barb, hold on. Speaking of artificial intelligence, C3 AI earnings are out. That stock spiking more than 10% here in overtime. They got a revenue beat. Revenue came in at $78.4 million versus $76.1 expected.
Oh shit, I was muted. Sorry. I figured out why Snowflake is down. No one put this in the chat. They have a new CEO. Frank Slootman is gone. And that's why Snowflake is tanking. It's not the numbers. They're down 24% because no one knows who the fuck this brown guy is. What? Oh my gosh. How did no one say this in the chat, dude? I thought this would be headline news. No one mentioned this. I just went on their investor page and this is the first thing I saw. That's why they're down. It's not the numbers. No one knows and no one trusts brown guys anymore after Sundar. So why would we trust this guy? Like, dude, what? Jenks said, I said in the chat, bro, you didn't read. I'm sorry, Jenks. I'm sorry. Okay, so Snowflake today announced that Frank Slootman has decided to retire as chief executive officer, and Sridhar Ramaswamy has been named chief executive officer and member of the board of directors. Now, this guy, if I'm not wrong, yeah, his company was bought out. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm putting this together right now. No, it's not Vivek's dad. You guys are racist, dude. It's not Vivek's dad. The reason Snowflake spent $150 million to buy Neeva, which was this guy's failed search engine competitor to Google, and he admitted, they just couldn't compete with Google. They were trying to find a different search engine. Obviously, ChatGPT kind of took the whole market. They didn't buy it to buy Neeva. They bought it to buy him. They probably knew in 2023. I mean, that was only in May 2023. That was like 6 months ago. They knew that Frank Slootman was out the door. They didn't come to this conclusion yesterday. And as a result of that, Marathon, by the way, is down 5%. I'm going to pull up the numbers in a second. As a result of that, they probably bought Neeva to replace Frank Slootman. It seems like that's what's happened. And the market does not know anything about this guy. Dude, this is not oh my God, I'm sorry, but this is just so real, dude. This is why we've been saying Palantir over Snowflake. Alex Karp is not the type of guy to give up his seat to some random dude that for a company they acquire. Number one, because Palantir doesn't acquire companies because they fucking innovate. Wow. This is incredible. Okay, so we got the Snowflake news here on CNBC. Let me pull this up and then I'm getting Marathon numbers. I'm getting Marathon numbers in a second. Here we go.
Has that, Kate?
Hey, John. As you can see, the stock is moving lower here on this report. EPS a beat, 35 cents adjusted, higher than the 18 cents estimated. Snowflake's revenue also a beat, $775 million for the quarter versus estimates of $759 million. An executive change here. Frank Slootman has decided to retire as CEO. Sridhar Ramaswamy has been named as chief executive officer. More comments here on guidance sees Q1 product revenues in a range of 745 to 750 million. That's a little bit lower than the 759 million that had been estimated by Street Account. And as you can see, the stock falling by about 24% now. Back over to you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that, Kate. This is huge because Frank Slootman has taken 3 companies public successfully. Sridhar Ramaswamy we know well. This is CEO of Neeva, former Google search leader who had tried to take on Google in search with Neeva. Snowflake just bought that company. So for him to be the new leader there, brought in to help bolster Snowflake's AI stance is definitely interesting. We'll be reaching out to him for sure. This could be also what's bringing down Nutanix after hours is what I wonder about, because it's in this data space and Snowflake is down so huge. Nutanix's results actually very strong. So this is good.
Yeah, dude. They bought Neeva for the CEO. Frank Slootman did not wake up yesterday and was like, I'm going to retire. He knew this a year ago. There's no way he knew this. He came to this conclusion just now. Marathon, I still don't have the numbers. I don't have the numbers for Marathon. I'm looking at the rest of these stocks. Snowflake's down 23%. C3 is up 13%. We'll look at them in a second. Paramount's flat. Duolingo's up 22%. Holy crap, dude. I should have bought some Duolingo. I was so close to buying some Duolingo. Dude, I had my button on, but I was like, what if they tank? I was like, whatever. They just always beat earnings, dude. They're such a good company. Their numbers are always so amazing. Weight Watchers down 25%. AMC's down 2%. And then Marathon is down 1%. I don't have the Marathon numbers. Marathon in 10 minutes. Okay, Marathon in 10 minutes. Cool. How does this affect Palantir? This means that there's only so many AI players, dude. Do you trust Sridhar Ramaswamy to make Snowflake the next, $300-400 billion company? I don't. And it's not anything personal to the guy. I just don't know who he is. I trusted Frank Slootman. He took 3 companies public before he got to Snowflake. But I definitely don't trust Snowflake over Palantir. I'd rather trust Alex Karp over all these guys. And I think the street's looking at what's happening with Snowflake. Like, why the fuck are we invested in this random company that's going to replace their CEO without telling us after a year? After acquiring this random company that we got no updates on for why they spent $150 million on some search engine like Neva, and no updates on their LLMs. Remember, Neva's technology was supposed to be used in LLMs. Neva did not have any technology, I will say publicly, that could be used for proprietary LLM creation. You know why? Because all the LLMs are open source, and Neva was a startup. There's no way they had some beautiful patents that could make their LLMs better. Like, no way, dude. Like, you could only imagine Palantir in comparison with Foundry Ontology that has millions of patents could actually make something like AIP more meaningful. And they actually unveiled it and had 2 conferences on it. So this is very bullish for Palantir at the end of the day. And it shows why, you don't buy things like Snowflake. Okay. C3 AI. I'm pulling them up. C3 AI, IR. I'm pulling them up right now. Their numbers are news. Okay. Here we go. I got it. Here we go. I'll get AMC in a second. As well. All right. So C3 AI, revenue, $78 million, up 18% year over year. Subscription revenue, $70 million. That's 90% of the revenue. Oh, wow. They made a profit. No, they didn't make a profit. That was a gross profit. Sorry. GAAP gross profit was $45 million. They still lost 60 cents a share, which is better than last year. So that's okay. Cash reserve, $723 million. Yeah, there's no real reason why I think they should be up that much. I think this is an okay quarter. This is not a bad quarter. Customer engagement is up 80% year over year. Net loss, 60 cents, probably better than before. And then they're growing 18% year over year. Where's the stock? C3 is up 13%. Yeah, it's nothing that crazy. I mean, it's a small company. Remember, it's a $3 billion company. They're not even in the Palantir's league, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But they are up today, right now. They are up today. Okay, AMC. Let me try to pull up AMC. I don't even know what metrics AMC actually cares about that much, but let's see AMC. Okay, here we go. I got their results. Here's AMC. Is this the release? Okay, I don't know why they published it. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay, here's AMC, folks. Here's AMC. So C3 is up 13%. Snowflake's down. We'll get Marathon in a second. AMC total revenues $4 billion. That's up 23%. Okay. Net loss $396 million, which is better than last year. Last year they lost last year they lost $1 billion. This year they lost $400 million, which is significantly better. Net loss per share was $237 compared to $929. That was expected. Adjusted EBITDA $425. That's up from $379. Fourth quarter summary. Total revenues grew. Oh, that was 2023, by the way. Sorry, that was 2023. So fourth quarter, they grew 11% year over year, $1.1 billion. They lost $118 million, net loss of $182 million, adjusted net loss $118, diluted per share $0.83 versus $2.64. Are they down or up? They're down 3%. Yeah, it's kind of an quarter. I mean, the street doesn't really care. It's kind of basic results. Very, very basic results. Super, super basic. Does Mongo do business with Snowflake? Pretty much Snowflake has 8,000 clients. Every company uses Snowflake. Like you can pay $20 a month to use Snowflake. Like Snowflake's like AWS, right? Like you can literally, start it up tomorrow. Foundry, you need to have some big money to pay, right? So it's a totally different piece of software. But that is, that's what we're seeing with Snowflake right now. Okay, so C3 AI, nothing too crazy. AMC, nothing too crazy. Now everyone's waiting for Marathon. Let me see what CNBC's got. And I'm going to try to pull up Duolingo as well. Oh, wow. EA has earnings. I don't even know EA has. Or let's get to EA, and then I'll pull up Duolingo while they're talking here. Here we go.
Hey there, Morgan. Yeah, Electronic Arts is cutting about 5% of its employees. This is just coming out now. I'm looking at a letter sent by CEO Andrew Wilson to employees announcing the reductions. 5% would be over 600 employees as a whole number based on their last published employee count. Also saying here they are going to be canceling some games that were previously in development from what they're calling licensed IP, not saying which games they were. They're probably unannounced games that they were working on, and instead having some team members focus away from those games onto what they're calling, their most engaging games, i.e. the games that make the most money. You can read into that as the sports games, the Madden NFL game, the upcoming NCAA football game, and also, of course, their soccer game, EA Football Club is another one. Also going to be shutting down some office space, it looks like here. But this is the third major video game layoff news that we've gotten, guys, in recent weeks. Yesterday, we had Sony Interactive Entertainment, that's the PlayStation company, of course, laying off 900. And then a couple weeks ago, Microsoft's gaming division, after the Activision acquisition, laid off about 1,900 people. So lots of job losses here in the game industry. And you see shares here. Looks like unchanged right now, guys.
All right, quick question for you. I mean, at a time where we saw so much belt tightening in the past, we'll call it year, among the tech companies, I mean, the gaming companies are they're like the other bucket of gaming companies. Is it just that they've been late to this party, or does it speak to other industry dynamics that are afoot, whether it is the Microsoft acquisition or something else?
Okay, Duolingo. We don't have Marathon yet, right? We don't have Marathon yet. Marathon's down 1%. That's the next big one to either fall or get hit. Here's Duolingo. Let me show you guys this. We're waiting for Marathon. I think we have in 2 minutes. We'll do SoundHound tomorrow. That's not today. SoundHound's tomorrow. SoundHound's tomorrow. That's not today. And Snowflake had bad guidance as well. Yeah, that's the only thing that's taking them down. Okay, so Duolingo, daily active users. Look at this shit, guys. It's up 65% year over year. This company just somehow, they get people to use this product, dude. They really do. Monthly active users up 46% year over year, 88 million. Paid subscribers up 57%. Paid subscriber penetration, 8.3%. That's up. Revenue, 44%. They did 151 last year. They're doing 531 now for the full year 2023. This was Q4 last year. Bookings are up 45%. Net income, they made a profit, 16 million. Adjusted EBITDA, 93.7 million. I mean, they grow. They're growing. Now, I don't know if they're going to maintain this earnings pump because this is great growth, but I mean, I don't know how much this is going to hold. That we've seen them fall many times after they have an earnings pump. But Duolingo is a language app that a lot of people use, and that's why this thing is up. Let me know in the chat if anyone uses Duolingo. The only language I know how to speak is funny, and they don't really teach that on any app, so I've never needed to download it. But outside of that, I know a lot of people try to learn, different languages, and that's why they use Duolingo. 2024, they expect to continue growth. I don't think we have some specific numbers. We just have 25% year over year. That's their long-term projected growth. And we expect adjusted EBITDA margins of 22.5%, total bookings growth of about 28%, and revenue growth. Wow, they expect 36% year over year in 2024. 36% year over year growth in 2024. Celsius is tomorrow morning. Not today. It's tomorrow. Where's Palantir? Is Palantir down? Is Palantir still okay, right? Palantir is barely down. It's down 0.37%, so that's okay. Marathon is up, guys. Marathon's up. AMC's down 15%. All right, so AMC's going down now. AMC's down 15%. Marathon is up 2% so far. 2%. 2%. Thank you, Cars84, for your ha comment, implying that you laughed at my previous joke. Okay, so Marathon, we're trying to get these numbers. These numbers are going to determine the rest of the miners, by the way, guys. If Marathon, Bitcoin, I mean, CleanSpark did phenomenal. Bitcoin right now is 60,405. If Marathon shits the bed, then yeah, a lot of these companies are not going to be well. It's still not on their website. So it's not out yet. And it's not there. ENH Property Maintenance says, is this guy live every day? Yes, you might be new to the channel, but we're live in the morning. We're live. We started lunch with Amit today. We did that. So we're doing that live stream, and then we're doing the market close. We have 3 live streams a day, and I fucking love this shit. So this is super fun. Thank you everybody for being here. And we're trying to see all this out. Okta is up as well. Let me pull up their numbers while we're waiting for Marathon. Okta is Okta's like a cloud IT company, right? That's what they are. I think. I don't know this company too well. Right now, the stock on Okta is, wow, up 20%. Okta's up 20%. Okta is it's, dude, I don't even know what it is. It's an identity protection company. Yeah, I don't know too much about these guys. Let me pull up their results. Lunch with the derivative. That's correct. Okay, so here we go. We got Okta. I don't have Paramount or I don't have Marathon yet. Marathon is okay. Marathon's flat. Let me do Okta real quick, and then we'll do Marathon because that should be coming out any second. Okay, so here's Okta. Let me know in the chat if anyone owns Okta here. Revenue growth 20% year over year. Performance obligations up 16%. Cash flow 174 million. Total revenue 605 million. That's up 19% year over year. Are they profitable? They are not profitable yet, but it looks like they're getting close. Last year they lost 153 million. This year they lost 44. All of these companies are getting closer to profitability, which is really good. Cash flow 174 million, and then they have 2 billion in cash. Revenue was up 2.2 billion, up 22% year over year. Yeah, and this is a small company. If I'm not wrong, the market cap is no, it's not 6 billion. Is 14 billion. For a tech company, that's not that crazy. So Okta's up 20%. Street liked the guidance and they liked the growth. And that's why Okta's up. Okta's cybersecurity, right. Okta's in the cybersecurity space. It's a little different than CrowdStrike and Palo Alto and those guys. That's a little bit different in terms of how they deploy cybersecurity, but they are indeed in that space. Their line is go further with identity that streamlines user experiences, increases customer signups, improves workforce productivity, and gets apps to market faster. What they look like already. Oh, I've used their product before. They're one of the, I think Plaid uses them for financial integration when you're signing up with your bank. They use Okta on the back end. Their user interface looks very familiar right now. Okay, cool. So that's Okta. Michael says, rest in peace. I closed my Okta position. Oh boy. You closed it right before earnings, dude. Up 17%. Okay, Marathon's numbers are not out, but they're up like 0.97. So Street thinks they're going to be okay. But let's see. Okta's used for single sign-on. Yep, that's what I thought. Okta's more of a use of login without passwords. Correct. So it's like cybersecurity, but not like enterprise-grade cybersecurity where you're like trying to stop Russia from stealing your stuff. It's a little bit more on consumer applications where people individually log in to access different products and services. So that makes sense. Celsius is tomorrow. Damn, people really love Celsius, dude. Everyone has been saying what's going on with Celsius. Like, I don't understand why you guys like this company so much. The drink is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. The growth is great. By the way, Celsius at all-time high today. So I love Celsius. I hope they do really good. But the drink is disgusting. But people love this stock. It's a very popular stock. Marathon, I'm on their website. I'm refreshing. I got nothing on Marathon. I don't have anything. Here we go. This is the website. I refresh. I get nothing. This is going to be an exciting one. Maybe it's coming out at 4:30, so that's why it's going to take a little bit. But this one is going to be something we got to look at. I'm looking at C3's press release right now. Here's the press release. We looked at the financial numbers. Nothing too interesting that they're speaking to outside of those. Law enforcement in San Mateo County are using C3 AI law enforcement. Their federal business is up 100% year over year. Now, look, you could say their government business is growing faster than Palantir, but they're growing off a very small base. I mean, Palantir is growing off of 1.5 billion in government revenue last year, 1.3 billion. You know, I don't know what C3I's government business is, but I don't think it's that much. So they could be growing 100% year over year, but that doesn't mean that, you know, it's substantial in terms of how much revenue they're actually bringing in. This is a company that brings in the same amount of revenue that Palantir brings in every quarter. They bring in about 600 million a year. Palantir brings in 600 million a quarter. So just for comparison, I mean, I don't think they're necessarily the biggest threat to Palantir. Marathon says 5 p.m. Really? They're going to do the thing at 5 p.m.? I think they're going to do the call at 5 p.m., not the earnings at 5 p.m. Yeah, the call is at 5 p.m. Yeah, the earnings have to be out like in 3 minutes. The call's at 5 p.m. I think we're going to listen to Marathon. Do we want to listen to Marathon or Snowflake? What do we do, dude? What do we do? What do you guys think? What does the poll say? The poll has Snowflake at 53%. I don't know. I want to do what you guys want to do, but I know people love Marathon. So you guys, we got to figure this out. Snowflake is interesting though, because fucking this new CEO, I really want to hear that. I think that's exciting. So, but you guys love Bitcoin and cryptos. Oh my God, it's going to have to be a game time decision, dude. Like I have to make the decision. I'm the guy who makes the decision. I have to make the shot. And based on which shot I pick, this is a lot of pressure. This is not easy. This is not fun. But I have to decide. And right now I'm pretty much torn. Yeah, dude, this is 50-50. I don't like this. I wish it was like 7. Follow your heart. Oh boy. Okay, let me go to CNBC, see if they have anything. Okay, here we're talking about Salesforce and Snowflake. Let's listen to this. And I'll stop once we get Marathon. Okay, here we go.
Q4 report. Analysts and investors wanted to see top-line momentum heading into 2025, indicating that AI had this opportunity to be a growth catalyst for the business. They obviously came in below on revenue for the year, which is driving the stock down right now. We know that people are going to use AI. We know companies are going to sign up for these betas. The question is, though, at the end of 2024 into 2025, are they going to start to sign the large deals, these multi-million-dollar contracts that are going to be the growth catalyst that we're all hoping it's ultimately going to be?
Yeah, I mean, just sticking with Salesforce right now, it really seems like the stock is under pressure because of the guidance and the fact that you're looking at high single-digit guidance in terms of revenue looking forward. I mean, they did recently just launch this Einstein AI platform. How much do we think that's even baked into that guidance? Or again, to use the word conservative, is that something where we're gonna have to wait for the call to get a little bit more context, and it could be something that actually provides upside risk this year?
Thanks. So yes, it's really the question. But what's interesting is current bookings to flow through to revenues over the next 12 months were actually 12%. They were higher than that last quarter, but they've generally been in an acceleration trend. And that's without any of the...
Marathon's out. Marathon is out. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm running a marathon. Marathon is out. Here we go. Here's the numbers. Here's Marathon. Revenues are up 229% to $388 million. Marathon's up 7%, guys. Net income is $261 million. Hold on, real quick. That is a 261 divided by 388. That is a 67% net income margin. Holy crap. Adjusted EBITDA $419 million. Bitcoin production increased by 210% to 12,000. These guys made 12,000 Bitcoin in 2023. That's basically 1,000 a month. Marathon diversified its Bitcoin mining portfolio across 11 sites on 3 continents. Strong balance sheet with $997 million in cash. Plans to grow hash rate to 35 to 37 exahash in 2024 and 50 exahash by the end of 2025. Marathon stock. Oh, wow. It was up 7%. Now it's up 1%. Huh. Why is the street not pumping it higher? What's going on there? The quick analysis I can give on that is that I think it pumped a lot throughout. I mean, dude, it's up like 100% in 2 weeks. So like, obviously, it's going to have sell side pressure as it gets to higher levels. Marathon's up. Let's look at the other crypto. Robinhood's down after hours. Riot's up a little bit. CleanSpark is kind of up. It's up like 1%. Coinbase is down. Marathon's now up 6%. Marathon's like struggling to maintain this. They're struggling to maintain this. But it is up. Marathon is up now 5.7%. Okay, let me try to get their actual numbers on the website. But those headline numbers I read were pretty damn good, dude. Those were not bad. All right, here we go. We got the headline numbers. We got the numbers on Marathon. Here we go. Marathon. So energized hash rate increased 253%. Right now it's at 24. That's up from 7. Bitcoin production 210%, 12,000. Revenues increased to 229% to 387. Net income 261. They lost 694 million last time. This year they made 261 million this time. Their debt has been reduced by 56%. Wow. They had 800 million in debt. Now they have about 331 million. That's not bad either. Entered into an agreement to acquire 2 new data centers, increasing mining portfolio to more than 900 megawatts of capacity, 45% of which resides on site, now directly owned by the company. Bitcoin mining portfolio diversified across 11 sites on 3 continents as of December 31st, 2023. Now, there was a short report that came out on Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and that's what got people kind of scared about Marathon. I know a lot of people sold out of Marathon because they just didn't believe that company. There was like some shit that they have stock in Ireland and these offshore tax shelters. Like there was all this shit that was going on. But these numbers are pretty incredible. Marathon, it's struggling to pump though. Marathon was 16 2 weeks ago. You got to remember, it's at 31 now. I mean, same thing with CleanSpark. It was at $6. Now it's at 18. People are upset. It fell from 23. It's like, it's hard, dude. It's hard now for Marathon to keep going, even though Bitcoin has kept going, right? So it's like, you would expect there to be more of a pump, but it's up a lot already. So we might have a lot of profit takers right there. AMC down 8%. Weight Watchers down 21%. Weight Watchers has collapsed. And Snowflake, guys, Snowflake has not come back. Snowflake is still down. Like Snowflake is like you in this earnings season, we've seen so many stocks. You guys remember when I went viral on Wall Street Bets because PayPal went up 10% and I rang the bell, and then PayPal went down 12%. Like that did not happen to Snowflake. Snowflake went down and it's not even kind of recovered. In fact, when it wakes up in the morning, I mean, like this thing might go down another 5-6%. I mean, dude, a CEO change is massive. People love Frank Slootman. People love that guy. He has leadership capability. Like he I mean, I've listened to his interviews. He's a smart guy. He's a great business leader. To replace him with some random Indian dude, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Oh boy, Marathon's negative. Oh boy, it's down 8%. It's down 8%. Marathon's down. Marathon is down. They tried to make it a sprint, and unfortunately, they realized it's a marathon. And when you sprint, you end up not doing well at the marathon. They are down 7.48%. Those numbers are not bad. I mean, I don't know what the expectations were relative to those numbers. I couldn't imagine they were far beyond those expectations. I mean, they're growing 300% year over year. Obviously, because Bitcoin went up, so that's why. But still, like that's kind of the whole thesis around Bitcoin mining companies. They are down. They are down, but they're coming back, right? They were down 7% now. Marathon's a classic example of 2024 Q1 earnings, a company that goes up and down and up and down. And until we hear on the earnings call, we probably won't have any stability with Marathon. Someone says, forget trading, man. I'm out. Yeah. If you're trying to trade Marathon on earnings, dude, you must be going through a whirlwind right now. Your stop loss might have been triggered and then it came right back up and you didn't need to have a stop loss. Like this is a lot going on Marathon. The ETFs are definitely a better play than the miners. Marathon is 13K Bitcoin compared to 141 Bitcoin backed by BlackRock. Yeah, this is another. I was looking at derivative contracts on the BITO on ProShare futures on Bitcoin. I mean, it moves basically with Bitcoin. It moves identical to that. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin and want to increase the alpha with some leverage here, that seems to be way better than the miners. Now, I know the miners also have different opportunities for leverage, but there are ways to play Bitcoin and get increased exposure than Marathon or than the miners, right? This one was up about 5.64% of the day. ARKB was up 5.88%. And IBIT, for those that joined a little bit late in the market close, BlackRock now has $8 billion under management in terms of their inflows for their ETF, for their Bitcoin ETF. And the total trading volume of the 12 Bitcoin ETFs today was 6.28 billion, which is the highest it's ever been. And it's double the 3 billion in the last 31 trading days for Bitcoin. Bitcoin ETFs now have about 55 billion in assets. Gold has 90 billion. Bitcoin ETFs launched 31 days ago. Gold launched in 2014 in terms of the major gold ETFs. So, I mean, yeah, the ETFs have been doing very well. Duolingo is up 21%. We saw their growth. Their growth was phenomenal. So that's why Duolingo is up right now. What is the best ETF? Honestly, I don't think there's really a difference between any of them. The fees maybe here or there, but like ARKB, BlackRock, it really doesn't matter in my opinion. I don't own any of them, so I don't really know them that well. But ProShares, if you want to do derivatives on, that's something that you could do derivatives on. The other ones you can't really do those on with BlackRock or Fidelity or ARK. Palantir's down now 1%. I'll take it, dude. Palantir down 1%. That's okay. I'll deal with that. But as long as we're not down fucking 24% like Snowflake, like let's see how it's affecting SaaS. So Cloudflare is down, ServiceNow is down, Adobe's down, MongoDB is down 6%. Wow, that's a lot. Oracle's down a little bit. Snowflake's down. Wow, Snowflake's down 24%, dude. Holy crap. Brad, what's his name? Brad Gersner is big on Snowflake. I never understood his Snowflake thesis, but I want to see what he has to talk about today because he's been a big proponent of just like getting rid of employees, crushing people, all that stuff, right? Snowflake's down 24%. They got rid of the CEO. I would be curious to see what he has to say. Datadog's down 4%. He bought it at the IPO, so he's been holding it for a long time. Palantir down about 1%. And then Salesforce is down 5% as well. Let's go to Snowflake's numbers because I didn't actually pull up their numbers. And let's see what they have to say about their numbers. Real quick, let's look at what they had to say about the CEO. Palantir officially has a larger market cap than Snowflake. Is that verified, Sasky? Is that verified? And can you put the market caps in the chat? Is that verified? Because if that is, dude, that's wild. I think you're right about that. They lost 20%. Yeah, they have to. They have to have a larger market cap. That's insane. So Ramaswamy led all of Google's advertising products, which included search, display, video advertising, analytics, shopping, payments, and travel. During his 15 years at Google, he was an integral part of the advertising business. He grew up from 1.5 billion to 100 billion. He's also a venture partner. Dude, if you're a venture partner at a VC fund and you're trying to run a public company, I'm not saying you can't do it, but like Alex Karp is not fucking going to VC meetings. He's fucking running Palantir. So I understand why the street is upset right now. Okay, where's the actual results? Here we go. Here are the results. I called it. I said they would grow about 33 or 34%. So revenue, $738 million, up 33% year over year. 461 customers with revenue of 1 million. Net retention rate 131. Palantir's at 108, so that's much better. 691 of Forbes Global 2000 customers. They have a lot of people. Remaining performance obligations of 5.2 billion, 41% year-over-year growth. Not horrible numbers, but the street's just like, what do we do with this whole new CEO thing? I want to see their stock-based comp too. Let me see right here if they have that here, because their stock-based comp has been going up dramatically this year. Stock-based comp, but they might not. Oh, here we go. Okay, so stock-based comp. Let's look at this. Stock-based comp. Last quarter. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Holy crap, guys. Holy crap. I said I had a feeling this would happen as well. Their stock-based comp last quarter went from 250 million to 305 million. For the full year, the stock-based comp went from 861 to 1.1. They have spent, if I'm not reading this wrong, 1.1 billion on stock-based compensation. Palantir spent 500 million, just to put into perspective. And I think the people that work at Palantir are a little bit smarter, just a little bit, than the people that work at a company that's used to basically describe social justice warriors. Okay, like Snowflake. Like this is ridiculous. So 861 to 1.1 billion. Marathon's down 7%. That is pretty incredible. If I'm not reading this wrong, that means that Snowflake is they're doing a lot of dilution. And by the way, guys, Snowflake isn't GAAP profitable. Snowflake is not GAAP profitable. People forget. Snowflake is not GAAP profitable. Let's go back to equities and see what we got going on. So earnings, Duolingo's up 20%, Okta's up 18%, C3 AI is up 15%, Snowflake's down 23%, Salesforce is down 5%, Paramount's flat, Marathon's down 5%. This one's like tittling back and forth. I don't know why they're down. If anyone can tell me why, outside of people taking profits, the numbers were good. So I don't understand why they're down. AMC is down 9%. Yeah, Snowflake's not profitable. They are not GAAP profitable. Now, obviously, they're sacrificing profitability for growth. They're growing 33% year over year, which is great. And the street will let you do that. But still, Palantir is now profitably growing. Are they growing as much as Snowflake? No. But they also are not replacing their CEO for some random Google ad exec that no one knows about. Like, it's just different, dude. It's just different. Robinhood now is down 1%. They're down. So that marathon thing got them down. Bitcoin 60,000, CleanSpark's down a little bit, Coinbase is down 1%. It's so funny because Bitcoin's up 5% and all the crypto proxy plays are down because they've run a lot, which makes sense. But I thought they would go down if Bitcoin goes down. They're going down when Bitcoin's going up, which to me feels a little manipulative. I think the market makers are having some fun, but it also means that people are probably taking some profits. That's all. That's all. Lusty Picker says, when Karp said they want it to be so good the competition gives up, he meant it literally. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's great. I got to tweet that, dude. I got to tweet that. That is hilarious. That is crazy. I mean, you're right. They gave up. Frank Slootman gave up. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the guy. Massive respect for him. Absolute respect for that. He's an absolute legend in terms of his business acumen, but he left. I mean, he's getting older. I think he's like close to 65. He's probably tired of running companies, and he's out. And Karp is Karp's 56, and all I see in Karp is energy. And that's it. Do you think Marathon will come back above 32? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to. I have no idea why Marathon's even down. Those numbers are incredible. 300% year-over-year revenue growth. Down 6%. 12,000 Bitcoin produced. They're finally, they're not finally profitable, but they're much more profitable than they were before. I don't know, dude. I think, remember Marathon, let me get the exact number. Marathon in the past month is up 57%, past 3 months up 150%. So people are going to take profits. It's just a question of if there's more room to run on this. And maybe Bitcoin has to get to 70 or 80K for that to happen. Maybe. CEO of Snowflake just left while he was on the top. Did not want to see his company lose on his watch. Yo, low key. What if Frank Slootman was like, I'm out of here before this shit shits the bed? That would be hilarious. Henry says Bitcoin went above 64,000 today just to show us the potential of price movement. Yeah, agreed. And we haven't even got into the halving event. Guys, Coinbase, if you guys didn't see this today, Coinbase had a major outage where everyone's Coinbase account, including mine, went to zero. There were people that had on Twitter, I mean, they said they had millions of dollars on Coinbase. It showed up as a zero. Now, the money didn't go anywhere, but they had so much traffic. Their iOS app rating went from number 31 to number 22 on the App Store. It jumped 10 spots in a day. Retail might be coming back. Bitcoin goes up 10% in a day. You get everyone who's curious how they can make some money off this thing. And this time, even when there's a massive sell-off, which will inevitably happen post-halving event, if that sell-off ends up being at 90, 80,000 versus back down to 15,000, then there's still a lot of money to be made in this environment. So, I mean, that's why we're seeing momentum there on Bitcoin. 64,000 is no joke, dude. It's for me, it's very simple. It's supply and demand. The ETFs are buying up as much Bitcoin as they can possibly get their hands on, which is driving the prices higher. And now the people that have been holding it for years have to really ask themselves the question, do I sell this thing? And if they're not selling, then I don't know who is going to sell, which means there's only one way for the price to really go up. Now, there's going to be people to take some profits. That's going to happen. At 64,000, we saw a massive wall back down to 59. So people took profits. But eventually, after that halving event, I think this thing has a lot of room to run. Amit, look at Armstrong tweet. He said, and I quote, "We test for a 10x volume and we exceeded that. Traffic is shut down." Yeah. Armstrong, also a CEO of Coinbase, he said the traffic is just too high. And as a result of that traffic being too high, it's too much. Here's this tweet right now that Adam's talking about. So look at what Brian Armstrong said today. Apps are now recovering. We had modeled a 10x surge in traffic. That's 1,000% surge in traffic and load tested it. This exceeded that number. It's expensive to keep services over provisioned, but we'll need to keep working on auto-scaling solutions and killing any remaining bottlenecks. Thank you for bearing with us. Coinbase traffic is up 10x in basically a couple of days, dude. Retail's back. And you know what that means? That means Robinhood traffic is going to be up there as well. The reason for that is even if it's not the level of Coinbase, when people go to Coinbase and it costs them XYZ amount to buy Bitcoin, and they're like, you know what, this is too expensive, which is going to happen inevitably. They're going to look for alternatives. And those alternatives might end up being none other than Robinhood that are the cheapest places to buy Bitcoin. Guys, the crypto notional trading volumes, that was what, 5.9 billion last month for Robinhood. We're going to be above that. We're going to be above that. I think February is going to break that. Here's a partnership Robinhood launched with Ben Baller. If you guys know him, he's a popular jewelry maker out of NYC. Look at this thing. I need to get my hands on one of these things. This is a gold Robinhood credit card, it looks like, on a chain made by Ben Baller. Vlad tweeted it today. He said there's more to come. They have a press conference. Oh, wow. Vlad changed his profile picture. Wow. What is Vlad doing? What is Vlad doing here? I like the new profile picture. By the way, you guys see that right there. You see that right there. Me and Vlad are a little tight. You know what I'm saying? He follows me here. But so he said more people are moving their freelance work and side hustles and old school retirement systems having caught up. They partnered with GoPuff, Grubhub, and TaskRabbit today. So Robinhood launched a big partnership to allow independent contractors on 1099s to be able to retire or to save for retirement via Robinhood. That's going to bring thousands of new people to their app That's going to bring thousands of new gold subscribers. That's going to bring probably millions in assets under management, which means their net deposits are going to fucking skyrocket. And then you've got these collaborations on March 26th. They're launching some new event. And that new event is going to be live streamed at 7 p.m. And I'll be live streaming it as well. And we're going to see what they have to say. We're going to see what they have to say. It's going to be really, really cool, dude. It's going to be really, really, really cool. So I think Robinhood and Coinbase, look, to me, I'm biased here. I think Coinbase already did its move. Robinhood is criminal at this valuation compared to Coinbase, in my opinion. Coinbase already went up 6x. Robinhood is, it's barely at a $15 billion market cap right now. It's at what? 14.07 billion. It just fell 1% after hours, so it's under 14. So I think there's a lot of room to run, and I think the growth is there, and we're seeing it as well. Marathon, where's Marathon? Where's Marathon? Where's Marathon? Wow, down 10%. Marathon is down 10%. Even MicroStrategy is down after hours. Marathon's down 10%, dude. I don't know why Marathon's down 10%, but it is down indeed 10%. So we got Marathon that's down. We got all crypto stocks down. Robinhood's down. Bitfarm's down. MicroStrategy's down. Everything is down today right now. Bitcoin still maintaining that 60,453 level. Pretty strong right now. And so, yeah, I mean, look, these companies have run a lot over the past couple of weeks, so it's understandable, but it also makes sense that they are chilling off a little bit, even though their numbers are great, because these numbers are great across the board. These numbers are not as bad as we thought they would be. Where's Snowflake? Snowflake is now down. They were down 24% last time we checked. They are down officially 24.05%. What happened with Snowflake is their CEO retired, and so the market doesn't know who the hell their new CEO is. And at that valuation, $76 billion, they're not gonna give them that value. They're not gonna give them that market cap. They're just not doing it. So that's down. That's down as well today. There's one more thing I wanted to show you guys here. I think I might not have the tweet here, but I wanted to, oh yeah, what I was going to show you is Tanner messaged me today. Me and Tanner are going to do a podcast on Robinhood over the weekend. Tanner's getting bullish on Robinhood. Tanner from SoFi, from the Future Investing channel. He tweeted about it today as well. He thinks that this new Robinhood partnership is a game changer. He thinks this partnership with all these independent contractors, like if you work at Uber, you don't have a 401k match, right? If you work at Grubhub, if that's your full-time job, you don't have a 401k. You have to save in, like I don't have a job, right? So I'm unemployed. I use Robinhood as a way to for my IRA match and for my retirement. So many people, first of all, don't already have an IRA, and then so many more people, if they don't have a traditional job, don't have any retirement savings. Boom, Robinhood's going to get a ton of people coming from these platforms onto their experience to be able to do this, and that's going to be more momentous as well. So that'll be really cool. That'll be really, really cool to see what happens there. And obviously that whole gold chain thing was incredible. I think that's going to be a credit card as well on March 26th. That's probably going to be a credit card. Maybe they announce some crypto stuff, but we'll see that as well for Robinhood. Okay, guys, we have a big decision to make. We have a big decision. Do we do Snowflake or do we do Marathon? Do we do Snowflake or do we do Marathon? What do we do? Because I don't know now. I mean, both are pretty exciting to me. What's the poll at? The poll is at 55% Snowflake. We got 800 votes. I think that's a fair if 800 people vote, I think we got to do democracy here. I think we got to do some democracy here. Jess says, I'm worried Hood might be trying to do too much. They should spread out their initiatives in time. The only pushback I would give to that, Jess, is that Robinhood has been working on these new product offerings for the past 2 years now. Like retirement, they thought about in 2021, and they finally launched it in 2023. And it's just grown so massively because, the product is so good. Vlad, I was listening to an interview of him last night. He is a product-focused guy. This guy has a math degree from Stanford. Like he only cares about product. He doesn't give a shit about anything else other than product. So this is why in 2021, when the whole GameStop thing happened, he wasn't like the best on social media and all this stuff because he only cared about product. He doesn't care about marketing and all that stuff. So for him, I think their product velocity is massive and they're very calculated in releasing products. And I think their products are going to be, pretty well substantiated over time. It's just a question of making sure that rollout goes well. And after the GameStop saga, I think they increased the infrastructure and the bandwidth for all the traffic much better than before. And so did Coinbase, but even Coinbase couldn't handle the 10x level of traffic they saw today. Dude, that's insane. 10x level of traffic they prepared for, and they surpassed that. That means hundreds of thousands of people downloaded Coinbase today. That's a big deal, dude. That's a very, very big deal. Okay, I think we're doing Snowflake, guys. I think we're doing Snowflake. Everyone wants to do Snowflake. I think we got to do Snowflake. It is what it is. We got to listen to the new CEO. If you want to listen to Marathon, I understand, and I know you're going to leave. That's okay. It is what it is. But it seems like we got to do Snowflake. Now, when does this thing start? Let me see. Earnings call. I'm trying to get the earnings call. Earnings call right here. Let me pull it up. Should be starting pretty soon. Should be starting in like 5 minutes. Snowflake earnings call. So it's okay if you want to do Marathon, you can go somewhere else. Robinhood doesn't have Bitcoin, but they have $3 billion in custody, so they don't have any on their balance sheet. I think Coinbase has some on their balance sheet. They have Bitcoin in custody, which ends up helping their assets under custody, but it's not literally them owning it. Where is their Snowflake presentation? Where is the Snowflake presentation? I don't see. If anyone has the earnings thing, let me know. I'm looking on their website. I don't see their actual, hold on, maybe it's right here. Is it happening today? Oh, here, hold on. Investors.snowflake. I don't see it, guys. If I don't see it, we're doing Marathon. If I don't see it, oh no, I think it's right here. Webcast. Okay, yeah, we got it. Okay, so we'll be good. We'll listen to Snowflake. Here we go. It'll be here. Starting in 5 minutes. Okay, so we got 5 minutes. I got it right now. I got it. So we're good. Yeah, again, Coinbase, Robinhood, Bitcoin. I think a lot of these things have a lot of momentum to run. We just got to see how this all plays out. Snowflake now down 24%. SoFi, wow, SoFi is down below 9. They gave up all their gains. They had a bunch of gains yesterday. They gave them up. Google, 135. You know, my mom texted me today. She said, hey, should I buy some Google? My mom was like, this thing's dropping so much. Maybe I should buy some Google. So Google's going down. Lunar's down 4%. They were down 12% of the day. Where's SoundHound? SoundHound is down 7% on the day. Duolingo up 20%. Palantir down 1%. Snowflake down 24%. Microsoft down a little bit. Supermicro also down 2% on the day. Ethereum still holding strong at 3,300. And then Bitcoin as well, holding strong at 60,503. Is Palantir down after hours because of snow? Yeah, pretty much. John, I see your comment about Navitas. We'll have them on the list tomorrow. We'll listen to them. Or I don't know if we'll listen to them. We'll see the other earnings calls we have. But we'll definitely have them on the list. Tomorrow, the big news in the morning is Celsius. So we'll look at Celsius in the morning. And then after hours tomorrow, we actually have SoundHound, Zscaler, Ginkgo Bioworks. By the way, DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks, they bought 3 companies today. I don't even know where they had the money to buy 3 companies. Their stock is down today, about 0.65%. It's $1.52. Capio has like 300 million shares. I don't know why they bought 3 companies, but they bought 3 companies. And then tomorrow we also have Dell and Autodesk. Six Flags as well, Best Buy. Yeah, Zscaler, SoundHound, and Celsius are the important ones. Maybe SoundHound is one we listen to. Maybe that'll be interesting. Ryan Doe, thank you for the $10 super chat. Amit, I've tried to gift you a Palantir shirt that my company sell. We have a lot of stock shirt, but you never respond to my email. I've been following you since Palantir was $8. If you email me again at amit@dailypalantir.com, it probably just got lost in the emails. Email me there, amit@dailypalantir.com, and I'll get you there. Amit, are you covering SoundHound tomorrow? Yeah, we'll cover SoundHound. We'll do that one. That'll be exciting. Zscaler as well in the cybersecurity space. That's going to be exciting as well. Salesforce down 4%. I think it's positive tomorrow morning. Apparently their earnings, look, they named their enterprise platform Einstein AI. I'm a little bearish on any company naming their AI platform Einstein AI. Like Palantir picking AIP, I was like, oh, that's cool. AIP is normal. Like AI, artificial intelligence platform. The Salesforce is like, well, Einstein. So just like, okay, whatever. So yeah, that's interesting. They're down about 5% right now as well. Their earnings weren't horrible, but I guess that guidance was not the best. They're doing a 40-cent dividend. I think every company is realizing if they don't give back to their shareholders, they're not going to be rewarded. And Meta kind of started this thing with the dividend trend as a large cap. Salesforce at $290 billion. One day Palantir will be $300 billion, dude. One day Palantir, this $53 billion will be like fucking nothing, dude. It's going to be $300 billion. It's going to be absolutely crushing it. It's just going to take time. And it'll be funny when Palantir has to issue a dividend because they will at one point, but they're just not there yet. They are still in their growth phase right now. Snowflake at $288, or Salesforce at $288. Shout out to Farzad. Farzad, thank you for being in the chat. I did a live stream with Farzad. Lunch with Amit, episode number 1 was with Mr. Farzad. We talked all about Tesla, the bot, Elon's tweets, Rivian. So check that out on the channel. Farzad says I'm a machine, but Farzad, I saw you did a live stream right after you did a live stream with me. So if anyone's a machine, it's definitely you. Shout out to Farzad. It was super, super fun live stream, and he educated us more about Tesla. All right, in about 30 seconds, we will have, I'm going to be curious to hear what is their justification for getting, for this new CEO. And apparently this guy's going to have to talk, right? He's the new CEO. So he's going to have to say some stuff, and we'll see what he has to say. And if he has to say anything that's interesting. It'll be interesting. Is Glad the CEO for the, no, it's not him. What is Palantir? Farzad, Palantir is everything, dude. It's everything. We know Palantir is everything. They're everything. They're everything to me. They're my one true love. They're the ontology of my heart. That's what Palantir is. So let's see how Snowflake talks about. Also, I want to hear about their enterprise AI platform, because we need to hear some update on what's their competitor to basically AIP. They had a competitor last year. They didn't really talk much about it. So we'll see, what they're going to say. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Q4 fiscal year 24 Snowflake earnings call. My name is Alex. I'll be coordinating the call today. If you'd like to ask a question at the end of the presentation, you can press star followed by 1 on your telephone keypad. I'll now hand it over to your host, Catherine McCracken, Senior Manager, Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Snowflake's Q4 fiscal 2024 earnings call. With me in Bozeman, Montana are Sridhar Ramaswamy, our Chief Executive Officer, Frank Slootman, our Chairman, Mike Scarpelli, our Chief Financial Officer, and Christian Kleinerman, our Executive Vice President of Product, who will join us for the Q&A session. During today's call, we will review our financial results for the fourth quarter fiscal 2024 and discuss our guidance for the first quarter and full year fiscal 2025. During today's call, we will make forward-looking statements, including statements related to our business operations and financial performance. These statements are subject to risks and uncertainties, which could cause them to differ materially from actual results. Information concerning these risks and uncertainties is available in our earnings press release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and our other SEC reports. All our statements are made as of today based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any such statements. During today's call, we will also discuss certain non-GAAP financial measures. A reconciliation of GAAP to non-GAAP measures is included in today's earnings press release. The earnings press release and an accompanying investor and presentation are available on our website at investors.snowflake.com. A replay of today's call will also be posted on the website. With that, I would now like to turn the call over to Frank.
Thanks, Catherine. Welcome and good afternoon. By now, you've heard the great news about Sridhar becoming our next CEO. Before we get to that, I would like to highlight our fiscal 2024 results. FY24 product revenue grew 38% year over year to reach $2.67 billion. Non-GAAP product gross margin expanded to 77.8%. Non-GAAP adjusted free cash flow was $810 million, representing 56% year over year growth. We continue to pair high growth with efficiency. The year began against an unsettled macroeconomic backdrop. We witnessed lackluster sentiment and customer hesitation due to lack of visibility in their businesses. Customers preferred a wait-and-see posture versus leaning in to longer-term contract expansions. This reversed in the second half of the year, and we started seeing larger multi-year commitments. Q4 was an exceptionally strong bookings quarter. We reported $5.2 billion of remaining performance obligations, representing accelerated year-on-year growth of 41%. Our international theaters outperformed the company as a whole. We continue to see success in our effort to campaign the largest enterprises globally. We added 14 global 2000s in the quarter, and 8 of our top 10 customers grew sequentially. Meanwhile, Snowflake has announced many new technologies that let customers mobilize AI. Streamlit in Snowflake, Snowpark ML modeling API, and Cortex ML functions are all generally available. We also received FedRAMP high authorization on the AWS GovCloud. This enables Snowflake to protect some of the federal government's most sensitive, unclassified data. Now, on the topic of CEO transition, I was brought to Snowflake 5 years ago to help the company break out and scale. I wanted to grow the business fast, but not at all costs. It had to be efficient and establish a foundation for long-term growth. I believe the company succeeded on that mission. The board has run a succession process that wasn't based on an arbitrary timeline, but instead looked for an opportunity to advance the company's mission well into the future. The arrival of Sridhar Ramaswamy through the acquisition of Neeva last year represented that opportunity. Since joining us, Sridhar has been leading Snowflake's AI strategies, bringing new products and features to market at an incredible pace. He led the launch of Snowflake's Cortex, Snowflake's new fully managed service that makes AI simple and secure. Prior to Neeva, Sridhar led all of Google's advertising products. During his 15-year tenure at Google, he helped grow AdWords and Google's advertising business from 1.5 billion to over 100 billion. With the onslaught of generative AI, Snowflake needs a hard-driving technologist to navigate the challenges the new world represents. Sridhar's vision for the future and his proven ability to execute at scale made it clear to us as a board that he's the right executive at the right time to lead Snowflake. This marks my retirement from an operating role. I will remain on duty as chairman of the board and look forward to working with Sridhar and the team going forward. With that, I will pass it over to Sridhar.
Thank you, Frank. I'm honored to have been chosen to lead this great company. The success Snowflake has achieved is a testament to the great customers, employees, and partners who have contributed along the way. And of course, Frank has been a huge part of getting us here, which I gratefully acknowledge. Snowflake is a once-in-a-generation company that will revolutionize the world with its cloud data platform. This has become more true in the past year with the rapid technology innovations we have seen. Generative AI is at the forefront of my customer conversations. This drives renewed emphasis on data strategy in preparation of these new technologies. You heard the team say it many times. There's no AI strategy without a data strategy. And this has opened a massive opportunity for Snowflake to address. To deliver on the opportunity ahead, we must have clear focus and move even faster to bring innovation on the Snowflake platform to our customers and partners. This will be my focus. I look forward to working with the team, and I'm extremely excited for the opportunity. With that, I'll pass it over to Mike.
Thank you, Sridhar. Q4 marked a strong finish to a challenging year. Product revenue was $738 million, growing 33% year over year. Similar to prior years, we experienced significant holiday impacts in December and January. Holidays make it difficult to discern meaningful consumption trends. In the quarter, younger customers led revenue growth. These accounts are adding new workloads and migrating from legacy vendors. Financial services and retail were our largest revenue contributors, and we are seeing emerging momentum from the EMEA region and technology vertical. Customer optimizations returned to a normal level, with 8 of our top 10 accounts growing sequentially. We proactively engage with customers to help them optimize their Snowflake usage, and will continue to do so. History has shown that optimizations expand our long-term opportunity. We now have 83 customers with trailing 12-month product revenue greater than $5 million, up from 75 in Q3. Q4 was an exceptional booking quarter for us. Bookings are not a leading indicator of revenue. They do signal an improving macro environment. Remaining performance obligations grew 41% year over year to $5.2 billion. Of the $5.2 billion in RPO, we expect approximately 50% to be recognized as revenue in the next 12 months. We signed our largest deal ever in Q4, a 5-year, $250 million contract with an existing customer. Our international territories returned to meaningful growth, outperforming expectations for the first time in a year. We made significant progress in delivering margin expansion. Non-GAAP product margin of 78% was up approximately 300 basis points year over year, improved terms from the cloud service providers have contributed to margin expansion. Non-GAAP operating margin of 9% was ahead of expectations. Operating margin benefit from increased hiring scrutiny. Non-GAAP adjusted free cash flow margin was 42%. Bookings outperformance increased collections. We ended the quarter with $4.8 billion in cash equivalents, and short-term and long-term investments. We did not repurchase any shares in Q4. We have approximately $1.4 billion remaining under our original authorization of $2 billion. Now let's turn to outlook. Consumption trends have improved since the beginning of last year, but have not returned to pre-FY24 patterns. We have evolved our forecasting process to be more receptive to recent trends. For that reason, our guidance assumes similar customer behavior to fiscal 2024. We are forecasting increased revenue headwinds associated with product efficiency gains, tiered storage pricing, and the expectation that some of our customers will leverage Iceberg tables for their storage. We are not including potential revenue benefits from these initiatives in our forecasts. These changes in our assumption impact our long-term guidance. Internally, we continue to march towards $10 billion in product revenue. Externally, we will not manage expectations to our previous targets until we have more data. We are focused on executing at FY24 to ensure long-term durable growth. Now turning to FY25 guidance. For the first quarter, we expect product revenue between $745 and $750 million, representing year-over-year growth between 26 and 27%. For the first quarter, we expect non-GAAP operating margin of 3% and 366 million diluted weighted average shares outstanding. For the full year, we expect product revenue of approximately $3.25 billion, representing 22% year-over-year growth. We expect Snowpark to contribute 3% of product revenue. We are not including any other new products in our forecast at this time. For the full year, we expect non-GAAP product gross margin of 76%, non-GAAP operating margin of 6%, non-GAAP adjusted free cash flow margin of 29%, and diluted weighted average shares outstanding of 368 million. We plan to add approximately 1,000 employees this year, inclusive of M&A. For expenses, our forecast assumes meaningful investments in our AI initiatives. We expect approximately $50 million of GPU-related costs in fiscal year 25, approximately $10 million flowing through cost of product revenue. For the purpose of forecasting, we are not including any incremental revenue associated with these features. We've also evolved our go-to-market motion. As we compensate more reps on a consumption quota, we will see increased commission expense. Consumption-based commissions are expensed immediately rather than amortized over a 5-year period. This has no impact on cash flows, but is expected to have approximately $30 million impact to P&L. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge Frank's retirement. Working with Frank for the past 17 years has been an incredible learning experience, and I'm grateful for our time together. Frank's contributions to Snowflake have set the company up for the long-term success, and I look forward to being part of that journey. I've committed to Sridhar and the board that I will be with Snowflake for at least the next 3 years. Before closing, we will host our Investor Day on June 4th in San Francisco in conjunction with Data Cloud Summit, our annual users conference. If you are interested in attending, please email ir@snowflake.com. With that, operator, you can now open up the line for questions.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, you can press star followed by 1 on your telephone keypad. If you'd like to remove your question, you may press star followed by 2. Our first question for today comes from Mark Murphy of JP Morgan. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So, Mike, I think we with the understanding that bookings are not a perfect forward indicator of revenue, it's hard not to notice the total bookings performance is quite spectacular. And, even the short-term backlog number looks good. I think we're trying to bridge from that, growing closer to 30%, and then to arrive at the revenue growth in the low 20s. I understand it's mechanically more complicated than that, but On the surface, it looks like you're guiding with a lot more conservatism than a year ago. And so I'm just wondering, does that part of this feel a little more comfortable to you, or do you think it could take a little longer to convert bookings to consumption this year?
I think we are definitely being more conservative this year, given the consumption patterns we saw in 24. And as we said at our analyst day last year, we needed to see consumption patterns more in line with what we saw pre-24 to get to our longer term goal. And as a result, we've decided to forecast this year based upon the consumption patterns we saw in 24. And as you know, we forecast based upon historical consumption of our products. There's a lot of new products coming into GA and public preview this year that we have not taken into account in our forecast, and we will do so once we start to see that consumption. And so we will take this quarter by quarter for the year.
Okay, and then as a quick follow-up, Frank, I wanted to thank you for everything and wish you all the best. And Sridhar, just wanted to ask you, because of your background in generative AI, do you envision any changes in the technology roadmap, perhaps relating to Snowpark, or perhaps your role in LLMs, or how heavily you'd steer the go-to-market in those areas? I'm just wondering if you foresee any change in philosophy or approach.
Yeah, I've had over 100 conversations with customers over the past year about generative AI in particular. And the product announcements that we've already made, things in private preview, including Snowflake Cortex, which is our managed AI and search layer, combined with applications like Document AI for extracting structured data, or our Copilot. These have been very well received. Document AI, for example, has hundreds of customers waiting for it to hit GA that are on our wait list. So I would say it is a matter of executing to the roadmap that we have already laid out. Cortex will hit public preview soon. To Mike's point, getting this to GA, getting this in the hands of our customers and having them realize value is the top priority. I don't think of this as needing a new strategy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Keith Weiss of Morgan Stanley. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Excellent. This is Theo on for Keith. Maybe we just start off with one question on your consumption. I was wondering if you could give us a sense for where the consumption was softer as it is impacting your guidance. I think last quarter you gave us a good sense for digital natives seem to stabilize, enterprise seem to get better. So can you just kind of double click where the consumption is softening now versus your expectations and where may be stronger?
Well, as I said, the strength was in financial services and retail. We are seeing the technology vertical do well. And I wouldn't say it's soft. We did beat the last quarter. But what I would say is it's improving, but it's not back to the pre-2024 levels, as I mentioned. And that's we've revised our model to look at more recent history rather than going back too far in history for forecasting consumption patterns.
Got it. That's very helpful. And then one more follow-up on sort of the existing customer business and your net retention rate. That seemed to be on top of the bookings, another KPI that is at least getting better on a rate of change basis. Is there any level that you would guide us to in terms of where that net retention rate could stabilize? Is that informing your guide aside from kind of the consumption you're seeing in any meaningful way? Any color you can give us on that would be helpful too.
Well, as we've said before, over time, net revenue retention will converge with our revenue growth rate. And as I've said before, I'm not going to guide to net revenue retention.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Raimo Lenschow of Barclays. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Frank. All the best from me as well. A question for Sridhar. If you think about the customer conversations with AI, and people will think differently about the data and the data platform. Can you speak a little bit about how do you see that playing out for you guys from a Snowflake perspective in terms of the one part that you have is like the data warehouse, but also then more on the lake side. Like, what do you see in what are you in customer conversations, and how are you positioned now, and what would be the push for you there? And then I have one follow up for Mike.
Yeah, on Snowflake Cortex, we are implementing it as a core platform layer. It ships with every deployment, and it makes AI readily accessible from SQL, so that even an analyst that's not an LLM expert or a Python expert can simply write SQL for things like summarization or sentiment detection data that is already in Snowflake. Our overall aspiration here is to make AI really, really simple for our customers to use. And in some sense, the prototypical AI application is a chatbot over a specialized corpus using what's called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. But the idea is basically you're able to, say, talk to your documentation or talk to the support cases that you have and get answers back in natural language, but with things like citation, so you can actually believe the answers that are coming back from the chatbot. So both of these are ready-made applications that our customers are excited about. But I would say the big unlock is being able to get at the structured data that is in Snowflake and have that be accessed by many more people. Today, people go through an elaborate process of getting the data ready, using BI tools, going through a pretty slow cycle. And so the thing that we are driving towards is creating easy ways for people to be able to talk to subsets of data, like Mike to be able to talk to finance data or other things like that. I would say that is the thing that is truly exciting for our customers. And with respect to where data is sitting, as you know, we support things like Iceberg formats is getting more and more popular. So data interoperability is very much a thing, and our AI products can generally act on data that is sitting in cloud storage as well. So the solutions that we are offering as part of Snowflake are broadly applicable both to data within Snowflake, but also data that's sitting in cloud storage.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then, Mike, a quick question for you on the gross margin side. Congrats on the amazing improvement there. Did I understand you correctly? Is that just one hyperscaler where the contract terms kind of got improved? And is that something that we could kind of hope for others, or is the level now the level? Thank you.
So, as a reminder, we did AWS and Azure before our investor day last year. We just did our Google contract last quarter as well. So all three of those contracts now, and those are where we are running in those three clouds, are current, and I don't expect any changes to those terms in any meaningful way in the short term.
Perfect. That answers that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Kirk Materne from Evercore. The line is now open. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much. And Frank, congrats on a great run at Snowflake and before. Mike, maybe for you, every year you've told us that you'd always include technology advancements that you pass back to your customers in your guidance. It seems like there's a higher level of conservatism around that, just given the lack of visibility on that. Can you try to, I guess, qualitatively give us some idea of how much bigger a headwind that is than prior years, just to go along with some of the conservatism around consumption trends?
It's about a 6.3% impact this year. But coupled with that too, in the revenue, we rolled out in Q4 tiered storage pricing. So the amount of revenue associated with storage is coming down. But on top of that, we do expect a number of our large customers are going to adopt Iceberg formats and move their data out of Snowflake, where we lose that storage revenue and also the compute revenue associated with moving that data into Snowflake. We do expect, though, there'll be more workloads that will move to us, but until we see that incremental revenue on workloads, we're not going to forecast that. I will say, last year we saw a 62% increase in the number of jobs running on Snowflake year over year, with a corresponding 33% increase in revenue, and that's because we continue to show our customers that we become cheaper and cheaper to them every year. And when we do that, it opens up new workload opportunities for us, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay, that's great. I'll leave it there. Sridhar, congrats on the new position. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Our next question for today comes from Brent Thill of Jefferies. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Mike, I just want to reconcile, a really good RPO close acceleration in Q4, and then how you marry that with the guide. I think there's a lot of questions about the acceleration you saw and perhaps why that may not flow through into next year.
Well, I would say we signed a lot of large multi-year deals in Q4. I mentioned the one that was a 5-year, $250 million deal. And so what that really shows is the commitment customers are making to Snowflake. And from a customer's perspective, as long as they use those credits up within their contract period, they're fine. There is a lot of pent-up demand for a lot of our new products that are coming out. Sridhar talked about Document AI, but we have a lot of customers that want Cortex and Snowpark Container Services. So I think it's going to be more back-end loaded this year, and until we see that consumption by our customers, it's hard to forecast that. So stay tuned.
Okay, and Mike, just on linearity in Q4, I know the holidays were the holidays, but did you see things bounce back similar to what you've seen historically in Q4s, or was there anything unique closing out the quarter?
Are you talking from a revenue, or are you talking about bookings? Bookings was very strong in January. I would say from a revenue consumption pattern, I think there was a little bit more of a prolonged holiday that went into mid-January. Coming out of January, consumption's good, but once again, and through today, but it's more in line with 2024 consumption versus the pre-2024 consumption patterns.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Alex Zukin of Wolfe Research. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, this is Alan on. Mike, just as a follow-up about consumption in the quarter, I'd love to maybe get a comparison on February. I know we got a day left, but maybe how this month shaped out compared to February of last year. And then I got a quick follow-up. And that's from a consumption perspective.
The consumption is tracking where we are, and I just gave guidance for the quarter. So I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
What type of answer is that, dude? What?
And as a follow-up, I guess, you talked about some of the free cash flow impacts from the go-to-market change around pushing consumption more. Is there any way we should be thinking about maybe the top-line impacts as a result of that with the guide? Thanks.
What I was talking about was cash flow, with the switch in the comp plan from paying people on consumption versus the booking. And it doesn't really change the cash flow associated, because we're still doing the payments the same. And it has a $30 million P&L impact, but no cash flow impact is what I was referring to. And obviously, one of the reasons why we switched to paying reps more on consumption is because we want reps to be driving revenue more rather than bookings necessarily. And our reps are heavily compensated on two things this year. You have approximately 35% of our reps are focused just on initial new customers. 55% are just paid on existing customers, with driving consumption, identifying new workloads within customers. You have about 10% that are in a hybrid, a mix of new customers and consumption. And those are more in emerging territories or territories where maybe the installed base of customers isn't as high.
Yeah, he's upset, dude. He's upset.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Brent Bracelin of Piper Sandler. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Frank, I'll well wishes here in retirement. I'll forever remember your working with you on the first IPO and the last one here. It's been an amazing 17-year journey. Mike, glad to know you'll be with us for another 3 years. My question here is for Sridhar. As we think about driving more AI workloads to the Snowflake platform, what's the tip of the spear going forward? Is it Cortex? Is it Snowpark? Help us understand what you're focused on accelerating AI workloads to Snowflake.
Yeah, when it comes to AI, as I was outlining, first of all, simplifying it so that it is easy for our customers to use via Cortex is the very first thing. And a lot of things that you and I, like, analysts do with text now become so much easier to do with language models of different sizes. But I would say the applications that truly drive customer excitement, that there is incredible demand for, are on the document AI side and on the Copilot offerings. They're different, but they use the same underlying technologies. Document AI is about extracting structured information from unstructured documents like PDFs that every enterprise has boatloads of. And then on the other side, Copilot finally makes real the possibility of being able to just talk to your data, ask questions in natural language, and for that to get translated underneath to SQL, for that SQL to be run against Snowflake, and for you to get back a tabular answer, and then soon visualizations as well. It's that kind of fluid access that customers are really, really excited by. And what you get from Snowflake is that this comes out of the box. This is very easy. You can build a Streamlit app with it. And so it avoids all of the complicated exfiltration of data using other tools, needing to stitch things together as an IT project in order to get something done. And that's the power of our platform, where we know the data, we know the schema, we know all the previous queries that have been run against it, and are therefore able to create a very effective Copilot solution. So hopefully that gives you a flavor for the kinds of conversations that we've been having with customers and what they're looking forward to.
Very helpful there. And then, Mike, if I just look at the guide on a per customer basis, it does look like consumption per customer could be slower this year than last year. What's the delta there? Is the primary delta the assumption that tiered storage pricing and Iceberg will put more pressure on consumption growth? Is that the primary delta, or is there something else I'm missing?
No, there's a lot of new performance enhancements being rolled out on our software this year that are going to have an impact. There's also, well, I'll tell you, but I really don't want to because I know you're going to ask a lot of questions. We're also rolling out the ARM chip and the Azure. It's not as big as AWS has an impact that will impact that as well too. And clearly, we do expect customers will begin to adopt Iceberg table format.
Helpful color. Thank you.
These guys are so weird, dude.
Next question comes from Kash Rangan from Goldman Sachs. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
So weird.
Thank you very much. So Mike, one for you and one for you, Sridhar. Mike, how much of the conservatism is due to the transition at the senior-most level? And one for you, Sridhar, congratulations. What are the biggest challenges and opportunities facing Snowflake, in your opinion? Thank you so much once again.
I don't know how to answer that question, Cash, but what I would say is
What
I'd
is
like
wrong
to
with this
set
guy?
the company up to be successful throughout the year as we progress with Sridhar coming on board.
Dude, what is going on? This
Yeah,
is
and to answer your question, to answer your question, Kash, as you know, like Frank, our founders, have built Snowflake to be the trusted, efficient, and cost-effective platform for enterprises. So I'm standing on the shoulder of giants to take us to the next chapter. And we already have a pretty ambitious plan, for example, to be able to write applications on top of Snowflake, and those underlying technologies, native applications, container services, are rolling out to GA this year. And then I would add what is unique about this moment in technology, of course, is AI and its power to democratize access to enterprise data. I think this sort of dramatically changes our understanding and notions of what an application is, how things can be stitched together. I think it is that a data platform combined with applications, with AI powering things like interoperability, that I think is the biggest opportunity in front of us. And we have a ton of investments. As I said, many of them are coming to GA. Getting them out quickly and driving adoption is easily my highest priority. And in terms of challenges, some of these were deep platform surgeries. Unistore, as you folks know, is an incredibly ambitious project that has never been done before, but it will roll out. So I think you're going to see us realize a lot of benefits of the investments that we've been making in the core technology platform over the last 2 years. But as you know, AI is also moving at lightning speed. We have an amazing team that's at work on it, but I think there's just lots more disruption to the software landscape to come, and that's why acting with speed and urgency is especially important for us.
Awesome. Excited to be on this journey with you, Sridhar. Congratulations, and thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Kash.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Patrick Colville of Scotiabank. Your line's now open. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you for taking my question. Under Frank's leadership, Snowflake's undoubtedly been a bit of a rocket ship. So, Frank, I want to ask you, why leave now? And then, Sridhar, I can ask you one as well. Looking forward to you being in charge for exciting next steps. How are you thinking about your strategy for Snowflake and changes you want to make now that you're in the CEO position? I've got a quick follow-up, if that's right.
Yeah. The important thing that I tried to highlight in the prepared remarks was that we haven't run succession as a time-based process. And I said, why ask now? It's not a timing issue. It is, do we have the person that we think is going to be an incredible win for the company, going forward? And that's not, you can't dictate that or mandate that. That is just based on opportunities that will or will not present themselves. So we feel incredibly fortunate that we crossed paths with Sridhar through the acquisition of Neeva. If I think of myself, not just as the former CEO of Snowflake, but also as an individual shareholder in Snowflake, this is the move I want to make at this time. And, I cannot tell you as an investor how strongly you should feel, about succession. This is not just about changing of the guard. This is also about positioning the company really, really well for the challenges that are coming at us.
Yeah, and just adding on to what Frank said just now, our short-term goals are very clear. As I said, we have a slew of product enhancements in everything from like transactional systems like Unistore to interoperable storage to making applications on top of our data cloud possible with native applications and container services, and of course AI on top of that. So I think the short term and the need to react pretty quickly to a very Quicksilver AI landscape is what I'm going to be focused on. But I'd almost say that that actually translates pretty well into a longer term strategy. Our belief is that a cloud that starts with data at the center, combined with our product philosophy of creating a tightly integrated, easy to use product, is the long-term winning strategy. Yes, there are going to be details that are different about, which are the applications that we are going to be developing, what are ones that we are going to be doing in partnership. But that combination of the data cloud, applications built on top of it, with AI as an orchestrator, is actually a pretty solid long-term strategy as well. Of course, as I said, we have to be adaptive because the world of AI and its capabilities are changing by the month. And so we have to be receptive to that kind of change. But I feel very good about the path that we have set out for ourselves in how effective it's going to be, both in the short term and the long term.
Terrific. Thank you, Frank and Sridhar. Mike, can I just, one quick one for you. You gave the guidance about 3 points of product revenue will be from Snowpark in 1Q. Thanks for that color.
For the year.
I guess my question
for the
is,
year.
For the year, okay. Fiscal 25. Okay, when might Snowpark hockey stick? That it's been a product you guys have been talking about and invested pretty heavily in. It's seeing terrific momentum, but can we expect a hockey stick at some point?
Anything's possible. What I would say is we did about mid 30 million in revenue. I think 35, 36 million in revenue last year associated with Snowpark. Clearly, when I'm saying 3% is going to be just under 100 million, 95 million or so this year. I think that is pretty phenomenal growth. And if we can get it to grow faster, we obviously will.
All right, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Brad Sills of Bank of America. Brad, your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking the question. This is Carly on for Brad. I guess first question, just want to ask on your guide for the full year, fiscal year 25. I think you assumed, number of large customer going to adapt Iceberg table. So some expectation on data moving out of Snowflake, losing some storage revenue and some compute revenue there. Can you just double click on that? Why some of the existing large customers are going to choose Iceberg table rather than their original?
A lot of big customers want to have open file formats and to give them the options. And by the way, this is not necessarily customers moving all of their storage out of Snowflake, but a lot of the growth in their storage will be put into Iceberg tables is what we think is going to happen. So you're just not going to see the growth associated with the storage in many of those customers. As a reminder, about 10 to 11% of our overall revenue is associated with storage.
This guy doesn't want to be on the call, dude.
And then just a follow-up on that, I guess, it's like encouraging to know, 3% of the contribution will be from Snowpark. And then at the same time, you guys are expecting some headwinds from Iceberg and also the tier storage pricing. Can you just quantify for us, what's like headwinds for the storage pricing in the Iceberg table for the full year?
Well, it's built into our guidance. I'm not going to break them out all separately. I would say the performance improvements, which have nothing to do with that, are around 6.2, 6.3%.
Dude, this guy hates being here right now.
Okay.
He hates it.
And then I think you said the consumption is going to be like similar to fiscal year 24.
We're forecasting consumption patterns similar to what we saw in 24.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Matt Hedberg of RBC. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks for taking my questions, guys. I guess following up on the Snowpark conversation, it feels like 35 million going to 100 million is, like you said, Mike, that is good growth. Could you talk a little bit more about sort of, what the customer feedback has been? It feels like pipeline, it feels like every check you do, Snowpark's in the conversation. So maybe just double click on, what that, customer feedback has been and how encouraged you are with the pipeline growth there.
Yes, hi, Christian here. The feedback has been very strongly positive. What we hear more often is better economics and better performance, but probably more important, more simplicity into how data doesn't have to be moved between systems and it's just an integrated solution. Some of the enhancement that you see apply not only to data engineering, but also to traditional machine learning, which we see an increasing number of use cases also being deployed. So the sentiment is very positive.
Got it. Thanks. And Mike, maybe just one other, just to double click on the guidance philosophy. You said consumption patterns from 24 is what's influencing your 25 guide. I'm curious, and it feels like consumption has improved as 24 progressed. Are you sort of weighting it more towards like what you saw in the first half of the year, or more sort of like some of the better trends you saw in the second half, or just maybe double clicking on a little bit on kind of what those fiscal 24 assumptions are? Because it feels like things have gotten better as the year progressed.
I would say it's more the average of 24, and which we saw stability happen in our customer base. I'm not forecasting any type of recovery inside there.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Tyler Radke of Citi. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. And I wanted to direct this question at Sridhar, and maybe Christian can jump in. But just as we think about the product roadmap for FY25, you talked a little bit about Unistore, container services, Cortex. Can you just provide an update on when you expect these products to go GA, what you're seeing in terms of customer momentum, any customer statistics you can call out, and then how do you just kind of think about the maturity of these products, Sridhar, now that you've had time to look at the progress of these? Are you still expecting these to be contributors by year end? Thank you.
I'll give a brief initial answer and then have Christian take over from that. One of the things that the Snowflake team is very, very good at doing is making sure that everything that we ship is tightly integrated with everything else. There is, there's just fluid interoperability between our various features, and that is also rock solid. I think that culture of integrated and well-built features is a hallmark of Snowflake. Of course, in areas like AI, which is moving at lightning speed, we want a stable infrastructure, but we also need to be flexible enough, whether it's new models that we put inside Cortex or other functionality that we need to develop on top of it. But a lot of the core investments that the team has made to allow for this kind of extensibility is what is coming in handy for us in terms of being able to ship things with speed. I'll hand it off to Christian to talk about when he expects different things to hit GA. Christian?
Yeah, so as both Sridhar and Mike mentioned, we expect a number of meaningful GA milestones this fiscal year, starting with generative AI. Cortex will be in public preview very soon, and we expect it to be generally available on and around the summit timeframe. And as Sridhar said, we expect all sorts of interesting use cases of generative AI coming to the data and preserving privacy and security. Snowpark Container Services is already in public preview in AWS, and we expect it to be generally available in that same timeframe, give or take a couple of months from Summit, and is the ultimate extensibility capability for bringing computation into Snowflake. Iceberg Tables is already on public preview across all three clouds and will be generally available again also in the Data Cloud Summit timeframe. Unistore, which enables combining transactional and analytical capabilities in single applications, went very recently into public preview in AWS and will be generally available in the second half of the year. And native apps, which is how we accelerate time to value for both partners and customers, is currently GA on AWS and Azure, and we're continuing to round up the enhancements. So this is imminent, and we expect a strong showing of product capabilities at the Data Cloud Summit.
Great, thanks. And a follow-up for Mike, just in terms of what you've seen so far in February, and I know you're talking about FY25 consumption assumptions consistent with a year ago, but have you seen February trends improve relative to January? Does February feel similar to February a year ago, or is it closer to the strong growth that you saw in consumption, towards the end of last year?
Well, I just guided for February, for the quarter, and that reflects the consumption trends we've been seeing through yesterday. So I would say it's more in line
This
with
guy
what we
is
saw
so
coming out
rude,
last
dude.
year, throughout on average for the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Mike Cikos of Needham & Co. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks for getting me on here, guys. And I did just want to follow up. I guess one of the dominant messages from management, if I just go back a quarter ago, really seemed to be this theme about the growing use of unstructured data by your customers. And I don't know if it's just my read here, but it feels like it's a more muted message today. Maybe I'm missing something. But can you just put some finer points here as far as the trends that Snowflake's seeing, specifically around unstructured data in Q4? And then I did have a follow-up.
Great, Christian here. The momentum that we shared in the last quarter has carried forward onto this quarter. So there's no change in pace or interest. And if anything, the document AI that Sridhar mentioned earlier in the call, where we have hundreds of customers lined up to be able to leverage this technology, is all about extracting value and signal from unstructured documents. So the fact that it was not mentioned is not anything that should be read into it. It's still a topic of high interest among many of our customers.
Got it. And I know that you guys have these assumptions as well in the guidance around the potential headwinds from some of your larger customers adopting or moving data to Iceberg. Maybe to pour us through that a little bit, can you talk about what you've seen thus far as customers' behavior? Or are they already doing this with Iceberg, or is it just an assumption that you guys have? I'm trying to get a sense as far as the behavior customers have exhibited, as well as how much you guys are peppering into your guidance today when we think about that headwind, as well as the rollout of tiered storage.
Yeah, Iceberg's not GA yet, so customers are not going to roll that into production until it's GA. And we do think it'll be a gradual process of if they're going to move data out. But as soon as it's GA, new data can go into Iceberg table. And we don't expect that to be GA until sometime around June timeframe.
Okay. And so just to put a finer point on that, though, the headwind we're expecting from Iceberg, this is theoretical. You have not seen that behavior from customers just yet.
Correct. It is what we are expecting. I know the new tiered storage pricing that we rolled out, we're seeing that today. And I'll let Christian add some to that as well, too.
Yeah, I would add that for many of our large customers, we have been in touch on their plans for adoption on Iceberg. So some of what you see in our guidance has factored in those intentions.
This is a horrible call, dude. This is worse than Tesla. This
Terrific. Thank you.
Bad.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Michael Turrin of Wells Fargo. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate you taking the question. Maybe one on hiring. I think you mentioned 1,000 net new heads you're expecting to add in the coming year. How are you balancing adding to R&D, given all the new product efforts and AI interest, with bringing on sales capacity if the market does start to turn? And on the FedRAMP high authorization, any commentary around that, what that could open up, and if that's an area of potential investment as well? Thank you.
I would say a lot of our expensive hiring is in the R&D area, and there will continue to be more in the AI ML space. These engineers are very expensive. With that said, we're still adding in the sales organization, and if we see an uptick in new customers and consumption patterns with our customers, we can easily dial that up, just like we've dialed back our hiring in the past. But we are not going to sacrifice on R&D.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Derek Wood of TD Cowen. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Mike, most other cloud consumption vendors are talking about stabilizing growth. You guys are still modeling pretty sharp deceleration over the next year. So this certainly sticks out and may bring about questions on maybe company-specific challenges. So first, are there any notable customer or workload losses that could be weighing on growth this year? And generally, how are you feeling about sales productivity and competitive win rates in the current environment?
Absolutely no big competitive losses or workloads moving off that I'm aware of. This is all related to our model, where a lot of the performance improvements that we have in our software go directly to the customer. And that's why I was pointing out, you saw there was a 62% year-over-year growth in jobs on a daily basis run on Snowflake versus only a 33% revenue growth. And we know there's a lot of performance improvements coming into play this year, coupled with Iceberg, coupled with tiered storage pricing that we rolled out. And I was able to roll out the tiered storage pricing because we were getting much better pricing out of the cloud vendors to us.
Yeah, okay. It would be interesting to kind of see what the growth rates on just the workloads related to compute is relative to the storage drag. Maybe that's something you could give. But just how do you feel about ultimately kind of getting back to 30% growth longer term, and kind of what's the top one or two critical things that need to take place to get you there?
I would say the biggest thing is the uptick in consumption associated with all the new enhancements we have in our product, in particular, what we could see coming out of Cortex, what we could see coming out of Snowpark Container Services, and ultimately what we could see in native app development on our platform.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Gray Powell of BTIG. Your line is now open. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking the question. I just had a quick follow-up on Snowpark. I think you called out Snowpark at a 70 million annual run rate one day back in December. I know that was just sort of like a one-day statistic, but I'm just trying to think through that. I mean, the guide of 3% of revenue for fiscal 25, that's like 95, 100 million. I guess it just seems kind of conservative, given that that consumption on Snowpark was growing 45% quarter over quarter last quarter. Just how should we think about the level of conservatism on that assumption within your guidance?
Well, what I'm saying is we're guiding it to be 3% of product revenue this year, and you can infer what you want from the guidance.
Dude, did he wake up on the wrong side of bed or something?
Well, all right then. Thank you very much.
If I was an analyst, I would be pissed off, dude.
Thank you. We'll take no further questions for today. So that concludes today's conference call. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect your lines.
Dude, that was the end of the call. Are you serious? The end of the call was him saying, hey, can you give us a little bit more clarity on guidance? And who is this guy? It's not the CEO. That's not the CEO, guys. That's some guy named Mike. He was just like, I said what I said, so you can infer whatever you want to infer from what I said, which technically, yeah, that is the answer you're going to make, but at least be a little nice about it on the day your stock's down 20%. It's not an unreasonable question. He's just asking about the guidance. Who is this guy? Mike Snowflake. Who the hell is this guy? I think this is the guy. This guy right here, Mike Scarapelli, CFO. This was the guy we were listening to that was just so mean. He was so mean, dude. If that was my mom, dude, she would have smacked the shit out of me if I started answering questions like that. My mom would have been like, don't you ever talk to someone like that, especially if you're talking about their money that's invested in your company. You're going to fucking talk to people that are putting their hard-earned dollars into your stock. You're going to talk like that. This guy right here, fucking Mike Scarapelli. This dude, CFO Snowflake. This is the most egregious, disgusting, mean, just like, and it's not Elon Musk mean. It's not Alex Carr bang on the table mean. That's mean for a reason. That's mean for like trying to get the analyst to understand the nature of the software. You're a CFO. All you have, like, if someone's asking you about clarity on the product and they're the ones that control your price targets, you could give them a little bit of something. I mean, that was bad, dude. That was bad. That was not a good call. Yeah, guys, Snowflake's down 20% right now after hours. They probably deserve to be down. That was a disgusting call, horrible call. The big thing I think, and I was saying this in the chat if you guys were reading that stuff, down 20%. Their enterprise AI platform, or at least the way they're talking about it, to me sounds like a joke. You've got the new CEO basically saying, well, we want AI chatbots to be able to engage with enterprise clients so that they can speak to their data. And it's like, dude, there are a million startups of like trying to build something where like enterprises can talk to their data. That's nothing special, right? Like if you're going to give a use case or an example, it has to be a use case or example that's based in something that's like meaningful to understand. The way Palantir talks about AIP and LLMs as a foundational way to understand the context of the reality of your organization. I mean, it at least sounds better. And then there's actual stuff behind it, given all the use cases, the 2 conferences we had on AIP, where it's real. And then they prove it in terms of the deals they're getting. Snowflake did not announce a single client name. There's no Tampa Bay, there's no Cleveland Clinic, there's no CPKC that are working with their enterprise AI platform. And that to me was the most shocking thing, because when the new CEO, who sounds completely uninspiring, is talking about, oh, people will chat with their PDFs. I'm like, dude, there's a billion companies that have built some version like that. ChatGPT is basically that. Like, that's basically like, this is, there's no idea of governance or security or what are they like really saying is the moat here. It's just bad. It's bad. So this was really bad. I was talking to Danger just like a couple of minutes ago about Snowflake. I think that it's pretty obvious. Wall Street picked Snowflake for the growth. Retail picked Palantir for product. This is the 2,000 videos we've done on this channel trying to analyze Palantir for the product. That is what pays off at the end, because ironically, growth only lasts so long without a good product. And it seems like, Snowflake's growing 33% year over year, but that growth is subsidized by, get a load of this if you missed this, $1.16 billion of stock-based compensation. Why are you paying half, or not half, but like 40-ish% of your revenue? I think the revenue this year was like 2.6. 1.1 out of the 2.6 billion is going to stock-based compensation. We know they're not hiring the smartest people in the world. We know that a Palantir employee goes through 8 different rounds of interviews. I know this. I've spoken to Palantir employees. It's not easy to get a job at Palantir. The most elite of elite people on the planet are the people that are working at Palantir, and they're only getting paid $430 million in stock-based compensation for 2024, for 2023. As you can see right here, $430 million, whereas Snowflake's doing $1.1 billion. I don't get it. And then the worst thing here, this is why the stock is down, guys. The growth wasn't the worst. I mean, the growth is still 33% year over year. The growth is not horrible. Guidance was not the best, 26% guidance. But this right here, this random dude who worked in advertising in Google, no offense to him, but the street doesn't know who you are. And even if they do know who you are, why should they be excited that you're going to be the guy, especially it didn't sound interesting on the earnings call to take this company to, the next level. Frank Slootman is a rock star legend. Him stepping down to me is either he's saying, I don't believe in Snowflake anymore. I don't believe in the product. I don't believe in the vision, or I'm really tired. And even if it's, I'm really tired, that inexplicably, like intrinsically, that still implies that I kind of am not excited about Snowflake anymore, even if I'm tired. I get he's above 60 years old and maybe he's tired. He wants to quit. But I mean, if you were excited, if you guys were building something special, I would imagine you'd be a little bit more excited, right? It's only been a couple of years that Snowflake's been public. So, Palantir Source, I see you in the comments right now. Admit your commentary on the Snow earnings call has me dying. Dude, it's true. Mike basically acted as the chief troll officer today, as Ichi says. Fucking Mike Scarapelli. Dude, my mom would smack. My mom, I remember when I was little, I think I didn't hold the door open for a elder lady. This was like when I was like 6 or 7 years old. We were exiting out of a Walgreens, which is it's like a pharmacy / like grocery store type of thing in New Jersey and in the entire United States. And I think I didn't hold the door for that woman. My mom, she didn't smack me or anything. My mom was like, yo, you fucking hold the door for someone. Like if I don't care who it is, you hold the door for somebody no matter what. Here's another good example. My mom, when me and my mom, we used to go to school together because my mom used to work at the same school I was at in middle school. And every morning, my mom was the teacher, and she would say hi to the janitors. Now, the janitors are on a social basis or whatever in the school, not at the highest totem pole, right? They're not the teachers. They're not the principal. They're the janitors. And my mom, every day we stepped into school, she said, you have to say hi to anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're the janitor. It doesn't matter if they're the teacher. It doesn't matter if they're the fucking president of the United. You treat people the right way. And the way this guy treated this analyst was not the right way. Was absolutely... What? Oh, I gotta do this over here. So as a result of that, it's one of these things where it's like, wait a second, that was my sister. She was ironically asking for my mom's car keys because I had them here because I was driving it the other day. So I think that this Snowflake dude, Mike Scarapelli, treated the analyst he treated them like they were beneath him. He treated them like he was so much better than them. And at the end of the day, if you're in Tesla 2018 on that earnings call, let's check Palantir stock price as well. When you're asking Elon really, really stupid questions, you deserve to be talked down to. Okay. Like you deserve that at that moment because your job is to have good questions. You asked a really bad question and you deserve to be, you deserve to get a little bit of a lesson there, right? That's a meaningful way for a CEO to engage with people. That could still be rude, but at least justifiably rude. If you have a crappy quarter and you have guidance and you have a new CEO who came out of nowhere and some analyst is just like, hey, can you give us a little bit more clarity here? And you're like, not once, not twice. He did it at least 5 times. You guys heard during the call. I said what I said. You can infer whatever you want from what I said. That's rude, dude. That's very, very rude. That's not nice. And I don't like mean people, dude. I consider myself not a mean person. That's not how I was raised. You open the door for anybody and everybody. You fucking say hi to everybody. You treat everybody with respect. At the end of the day, you can be a little braggadocious and cocky and you could have fun, but at the end of the day, you have to be a good human being. And Mike Scarapelli, if you're watching this, you are not a good human being today. You deserve a timeout. In fact, you should call your mom and tell her, and you should apologize for this earnings call because you acted like a very rude man. And you might not care that I'm saying this, but your stock's down 20% and Palantir's up 50%. And I think you need to give yourself a little timeout for what you did today. You need to reevaluate. I would put out a letter of apology to that fucking analyst. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I treated someone like that. I would literally find a way to email them and be like, yo, I'm sorry. I was in a bad mood. Like I woke up on the wrong side of bed. Please don't take it personally. I would at least apologize because that was mean. That was very, very mean. That was not nice. Anyway, that was the Snowflake breakdown. Good news for Palantir is that we are innovating. We're not having to buy companies. Snowflake bought that Indian dude's company, Neva, for $150 million. It seems like they did not. That's an egregious waste of shareholder capital, by the way. They didn't buy his company for the tech. There was no tech that was so proprietary it was worth $150 million. Get the fuck out of it. They bought his company because they needed someone to replace Slootman, and they didn't know who could replace him. And then they realized, well, what if this guy who is like, he's advertising executive at Google for 10 years, he at least has some credibility. boom, there you go. That's your replacement. But that's not a good replacement, in my opinion. I mean, the street definitely doesn't think it's a good replacement. So there we go. Snowflake down, Palantir down a little bit, but that's okay. Robinhood taking a beating after hours, down 2.67%. It's getting hit from some of the stuff that's going on in crypto. Bitcoin right now, 61,872, trying to get back to 62K. Look, here's my thesis today. As soon as I woke up in the morning and I saw Bitcoin at 60,000 and I saw Robinhood, it was up like 5 cents. I immediately realized there's something weird going on here. There is no reason Robinhood should be down or flat on the day when Bitcoin is surging 7%. I believe the market makers are manipulating this. I think they know there are cheap shares. By the way, Robinhood's 10K just came out, so I'm going to go through it tonight, and then I'll post some stuff about it on Twitter. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm putting that in the chat right now so you can get all those updates. And I think the market makers are just like, this thing's running way too quickly, which they're probably right. Same thing with Marathon, down 8%. I don't think there's any reason for Marathon to be down 8% right now. Those earnings were pretty good, but it's run a lot, down about 7.15%. And I think the market makers are like, you know what? We are not going to let this thing go to the moon. Let's let Bitcoin kind of stabilize here, or at least let's artificially depress the price. If you just look up illegal market making activities, these guys can do whatever the hell they want, quite frankly. I mean, they are the ones who really control the market. And let's depress it. Let's shake out retail. This happened time and time again with Palantir. And let's get them to think that, oh, everything's going to shit. Except if you're smart and you're seeing crypto go up and your crypto stocks go down, everything's not going to shit. And then eventually we'll let this thing fly. I think that's what's happening right now. If we get a dip to 14 on Robinhood, I think that's a really amazing dip buy. But we'll see if that happens. Same thing with CleanSpark. If it goes back to 14, 13, I think that's a great dip buy, but especially with Bitcoin being at these levels. But we got to see if that does happen. Who knew you were a conspiracy theorist? Look, and I stay away from this type of stuff because I don't want to sound like I'm crazy or anything, but there is no way Robinhood, CleanSpark, some of these guys are down 3% today when Bitcoin's up $10,000. And like that doesn't even make any sense. Coinbase, down, Coinbase increased their traffic 10x what they thought they would increase their traffic by. And you don't tell me the street's smart enough to figure out, oh, that means more people are going to spend more money on Coinbase and Robinhood. Because by the way, when Coinbase collapsed, a lot of those people probably went to Robinhood, right? They look for different ways to buy crypto. And then the street's not stupid here. The street's not stupid. Robinhood's Q2 2021 revenue in crypto, $233 million. 2 quarters ago, $23 million. Last quarter, $43 million. 72% quarter over quarter growth just in crypto. Still, $40 million is 80% down from the 230 they bought 3 years ago in crypto revenue. That's going to go up a lot next quarter. The street knows that, and I think they want cheap shares. And I think that's the case. Austin says, what if Slootman is chronically ill? If he is, I would feel very sad for Slootman, and my greatest sympathies would go to him. My problem is not with Slootman stepping down. My problem is with how Mike Scarapelli handled that earnings call, being very rude to these analysts that he didn't need to be rude about. And number two, the Neva CEO, now the Snowflake CEO, not sounding inspiring or creating a vision for their enterprise AI offerings. So, I mean, the CEO can step down. It is what it is. Like at one point you have to leave, but they didn't handle the transition, at least in this earnings call, in a meaningful way. Now, Snowflake down 20%. Is that justified? Probably not. And there's going to be people that probably buy this dip. I don't think Snowflake deserves to be down. I'm not buying the dip. I would rather buy more Palantir. Any dollar into Snowflake is a better dollar that is in Palantir, in my opinion, especially the valuation, $60 billion. Like, this doesn't make sense to me, but there will be people buying the dip. This is a very institutionally loved stock on Wall Street. And as a result of that, people will probably buy the dip. I'm going to look up their institutional float right now on Snowflake. I think it has to be closer to like 60%. Palantir right now at like a 41%. Wow. It says, it looks like it says like 90% institutional. That's insane. Hold on. What is Snowflake's institutional float? Let's see if it actually, that's probably wrong, but it's got to be above Palantir, I would imagine, from Wall Street. Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin 62, folks. We're back at 62. 62 right now. Yeah, Gemini's saying it's 96%. That doesn't make any sense. It's definitely not 96%. I'm going to go to something else and see. I'm just curious. What is their institutional float? It has to be decent. But yeah, I think institutions are going to be a little upset today. Yeah, it's about 65%. Sorry, 65%. That's still a lot. 65% is still a lot. So there you go. Is Snow CEO on Kramer at the moment? I not at the moment, but I think he'll be on Kramer's tonight at 7 p.m. 7 or 8 p.m. Bitcoin 62 right now. PayPal down a little bit on the day. Coinbase is up a little bit after hours, back above 201. MicroStrategy up 4% after hours, 996. Keep an eye on these crypto stocks throughout the night. I know I will because I'm staring at everything. Because if Bitcoin makes a run again at 64 or 65K, if there's not a bunch of manipulation happening, I would imagine some of these stocks take off. Robinhood was at freaking 1657 last night. Like, there's no reason it deserves to be down at below 16. It's just stupid. But it is, I think, some of the stuff we're seeing right now with what's going on with the crypto plays. Another big thing in the crypto world is that Webull is officially going public. Webull is officially going public. They are going, the app that I'm using right now that you see on the screen, Webull is going public at a $7.3 billion valuation. Philip says Bitcoin wants 69K. I think it does. I think it does as well. I think it does. Which is really interesting about Webull, because if you take away Robinhood's cash, Webull's worth more than Robinhood for going public, which makes no sense. Webull has 4.3 million accounts, Robinhood 23. They have 8 billion customer assets, Robinhood 103, right? Webull has no crypto presence, Robinhood has a lot. So this is another kind of data point that I think the markets, if they're willing to give Webull 7.3 billion enterprise value, they're going to be willing to give Robinhood a lot more as well. Salesforce in the green. Okay, so Salesforce is now green after hours. So let's take a look at Salesforce. Salesforce had a decent earnings. They did a 40-cent dividend, which is not bad. Yeah, they're up 1% at 302. I didn't think their earnings were bad. I think they just dropped 5% because they dropped 5%. Guidance was not the best, but 40-cent dividend is not horrible, dude. I mean, if you own a lot of Salesforce stock, why would you sell if you're getting 40 cents on it? And I don't know if Salesforce falls back down to 150, 113 it was 126 at the low of 2022. It's basically doubled since then, more than that. So I think they're going to be okay. I think Palantir also has started to consolidate, guys, in this 23 to 25 range. I think it's pretty obvious now. I think it's going to be hard to get us below 20. I know, people have been saying that's possible. And even I'm saying, like, hey, let's give it a month of consolidation. Well, by like March 10th, it's going to be a month of Palantir consolidating in this 22 to 25 range. If that's the case, 22 is the new buy target. I mean, or 22 to 25, I think you could buy, and it's not that crazy unless there's a massive macro pullback. But when Palantir was 17 and it sounded crazy to think you could buy it back at 7. At 24, it kind of sounds crazy to say you could buy it back at 17. And that's just what happens in the market. And if that's the case, then maybe there's going to be a lot more people coming in to buy these shares at these higher prices. Is Webull from China? Yes, Webull is a Chinese company. That is correct. All right, guys, that's it for me. I got a meeting in about 15 minutes. I will see you guys tomorrow, Market Open. We will be on Finance Junkies today, 9 p.m. We'll talk about everything that happened today. And we'll see where this crypto market goes and keep going from there. This was fun. Love you guys. Thank you for being here with me on earnings. Celsius tomorrow morning. That's going to be exciting. 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Good night.